Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning to life. Music, talk, inspiration, in perspective.
Express yourself.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Citi FM, your station.
It's a refreshing lifestyle.
Citi FM 97.3.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul, and everything within me bless His holy name. Hey, your love is incredible.
Your love is incredible. Your mercy brand new.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show.
Immeasurable.
Your word unfailable.
Unfailable.
Promise unbreakable.
Promise unbreakable.
There is nothing.
Nothing you cannot do.
We lift our hands
We lift our hands
to declare
to declare
our allegiance to you, Jesus.
allegiance to you,
We
Lord.
raise
Our voice to say,
bless the
bless
Lord.
the Lord, oh my soul.
Everything within.
Everything within me, bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Oh, bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Everything within.
Everything within me,
Bless the
bless the
Lord.
Lord, bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Bless the
Bless
Lord.
the Lord, oh my soul.
Everything within.
Everything within me, bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Oh, bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Everything within.
Everything within
Bless
me,
the Lord.
bless the Lord,
Bless the Lord.
bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Clap those hands, come on. Clap those hands now. Your love is incredible. Your mercy brand new.
Your grace immeasurable.
Your word unfailable and promise unbreakable. There's
Nothing you cannot do.
we lift our hands,
We
Jesus,
lift our hands
to declare
to declare
our allegiance to you.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Our voice.
our voice to say,
Lord,
bless the Lord, oh my soul.
everything within.
Everything within me, bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Bless the Lord, say,
Bless the Lord, oh my soul.
everything within.
Everything within
Bless
me,
the Lord.
bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord.
24 minutes past 6, 97.3 Citi FM.
One more time.
Tim Godfrey with the song Bless the Lord. We're starting off
Lord, oh my soul.
on Wednesday, the 7th.
Bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Everything within.
Everything within
Bless
me,
the Lord.
Don't forget, we're in the third day of our business festival.
Clap those hands, come on.
Business is brought to you by ADB, offering a variety of personal loans, including top-up loans at significantly reduced rates.
Those hands now.
You enjoy a longer term of up to 6 years. Offer open to non-customers as well. Call 0302210210 or 0302224043. ADB, the People's Bank. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
your grace immeasurable.
Most of the time, people ask me, so what work do you do? And sometimes I'm tempted to use my profession. So I'm a broadcaster, I'm a journalist. But I think that's not really enough. For true leadership, you must redefine your work based on what makes you tick. And for me, I would say that my work is a learner. I'm a learner because there's no way you can excel at what you do if you don't learn. So leaders must learn to vacillate between leading and learning. Leading means you are the one people are imitating. You are setting the example. You are blazing the trail. You are charting the path. That's great, but you can't do that all the time. There are days you also have to learn from others. You have to allow people to pour into you. So it's giving and receiving. So great leaders are also astute learners. Now, learning must occur daily for it to bring change. Learning must occur daily for it to bring change. So what have you learned today, or what can you learn today to improve your leadership value? That's the question for us to think about. Leaders must vacillate between leading and learning. That's how to sustain excellence and impact.
Your mercy brand new.
Business is brought to you by ADB. Getting straight into the show. So much to do today. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Meet Mr. Ansar. He prefers to receive money from his friends and loved ones through the Agricultural Development Bank's remittance services, and his reason is simple.
Oh, for me, my brother lives overseas and he often sends me money. I can access it at any ADB branch nationwide, and what he sends is exactly what I receive. No wahala.
Is that why you prefer ADB's remittance services?
Of course. Well, whether it is Western Union, MoneyGram, ZPay Instant Money, Unity Link, Real Money Transfer, or Transfast, receiving my money through ADB's remittance services is guaranteed. And with some of these services, you can receive the money directly into your ADB account. Do you know what the best part is?
Share with us.
I can receive it at any ADB branch or selected branches on Saturdays and holidays. So, my brother, you see, if you go somewhere else and you don't receive payment on time, all I can say is,
Visit any of ADB's 87 networked branches nationwide, whether you are a customer or not, for the best in remittance services. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Pavo, the same Bible.
The unmistakable voice of Felix Owusu. 6:30 on Wednesday morning. Citi Breakfast Show is live and airborne. Thank you for staying with us. It's an interactive platform. It's the third day of our City Business Festival. We're talking e-commerce today with Benedict Ventil of MTN. Yesterday we had a huge conversation on creating a digital economy. So much to happen in the rest of the days coming. It's interactive, it's educative, it's business. And it's also a prayer. Show me the way in these very confusing labyrinths of life. Total Energies is proud to be associated with the newspaper review. A poorly maintained car engine can age faster, cost you more money, leave you on the road when you least expect it. Total is offering you the specially formulated quartz engine oil with ART, a breakthrough innovation, ensures optimal performance, improves protection. And this is up to 74% under extreme temperatures and pressures. Choose quartz from Total Energies. It's the right engine oil to keep your vehicle running more efficiently. And yes, indeed, Nathan Kwao and Godfred Akotobuafu are here. Looking forward to a great show, gentlemen. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello,
Are you ready for the show?
Always.
Are you ready to make things happen?
Yeah, but there's a lot happening in the world.
And you know that hosting a show is also creating realities, right?
Oh, yes.
It's not just coming to read, it's also creating things. Yeah, so put on your creative juices and let people benefit from the blessings that you have. Let's go straight to the daily graphic.
Okay, Bernard, I'll take you to the front page. And anti-corruption plan cure for IMF bailout. This is according to Joseph Whittle, the commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Charge. Justice Doche vows to continue fight for justice. It's a photo of a smiling Justice Jones Victor Mawulom. Doche, viral video of him going around shedding tears as he,
he's retired
from the bench.
Justice
Supreme Court
Doche.
overturns $16 million judgment against Ghana Telecom. I'll give you details. Bernard, mental health eats up 7% of GDP.
It could even be more.
Anyway, the Ghanaian Times also has a health story. Enhancing general healthcare delivery, NHIS to cover mental health. President assures. Outbreak of anthrax. MOFA bans movement of animals within Binduri. On the SIM card deactivation, more continue to mass up to re-register. And Ghana, Morocco seal deal for $1.3 billion fertilizer project in Takrady.
Front page of the Daily Graphic, minority attacks World Bank boss. That's that version of it. Economy back on track, says the vice president. And there's a photo of a smiling Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the opening of the psychiatric center by the president of the front page of the paper, and also NDCMP's U-turn on CJ nominee.
Okay, the finder says investor confidence conditions returning, opportunities for private sector back on track. That's according to the vice president. On anthrax outbreak, slaughtering of ruminants banned. GBC staff FWSC face NLC today over blocked allowances, and management of Gambaga witches camps calls for support to refurbish huts.
Front page of the Republic Press, Baumia sells Ghana as he woos foreign investors. Ken Ejapong goes off, descends on Baumia's devotee for attacking his presidential ambition. Stop stereotype of Fulani community in Ghana. And UW calls the bluff of concerned staff for fueling unnecessary tension.
Okay, the Chronicle says minority pardons Tokonu ready to approve her as CJ. On that note, Justice Doche retires, and Baumia entices investors to Ghana. Plus, police seize cocoa beans in oil drums. Smugglers arrested.
And the front page of the Herald, ex-energy minister paints World Bank country boss as grossly ignorant on PPAs. And then this whole Nogopo Ajinasari situation is also on the front page of the paper. And Menka Premu law firm denies involvement in GMPC's JOHL registration in Cayman Islands.
All right, the Ghanaian publisher says health sector needs serious funding. That's according to the health minister. Baumia woos UK investors. Akufo-Addo rallies support for Adan Salt investor. Minister begs caterers to call off strike, and NDC MPs back approval of Tokonu.
The front page of the BNFT says that a $1.3 billion fertilizer complex to be operational in 3 years. On school feeding, they are receiving $150 million in funding from the World Bank. Well, they and other projects.
Okay, all right. Today we have a lovely appearance. The junior graphic is here for those who are interested. Don't take shelter under trees in rainstorm. That's according to NADMO.
Okay, that's the front page story. Let's go online. Lots of stories on citynewsroom.com. Claims school feeding caterers are MPP members untrue. This is gender minister. Also, NLC summons GBC staff and fair wages over blocked allowance impasse. Meanwhile, IMF staff to visit Ghana to monitor economic recovery program. And baseless, unfounded, EC replies Sami Jemfi on Asin North by-election claims. Still on City, Charles Opoku confident of winning MPP Asin North parliamentary primary. Greek ministry confirms anthrax case in Upper East region, announces safety measures. And listen to this. Sam George says Albambabin's SIM card has been deactivated despite re-registration. Charlie, they're number 3 in the land, though. He's been deactivated. Now, if you move to My Joy Online, they are leading with the EC's argument defective in logic and betray Commission's appreciation of English, NDC. So this war of words between the two as the Asin North election approaches. Also, you are not yet confirmed. Chairman tells Atufosin in clash over Asin North by-election. Meanwhile, Ioko declares 2 persons wanted for various crimes. And Kumewu Roads construction. Residents unhappy with pace and quality of work. Okay, it looks like the election is over, so the thing is a bit slower. If you go on City Business News, Ghana sends debt restructuring proposal to official creditors. And as we said, IMF mission staff arrive in Ghana for assessment of our recovery. And then City Business Festival, takeaways from Reimagining Digital Economy Forum, 8 key takeaways highlighted. And then publish gold for oil policy document to improve transparency. Dr. Steve Mantiao is speaking. Now, there's a huge problem in Ukraine in the international segment. Thousands flee homes after Ukraine dam breach. And then another shooting in the United States. 7 shot at Virginia High School graduation. Yeah, so that's there as well. And then, of course, a few other stories from the world of sports. So let's get into the details.
Okay, well, if you go to the Ghanaian Times, I think both the Ghanaian Times and Daily Graphic are talking about mental health. So let's go there. The president yesterday inaugurated an ultramodern building facility for the psychiatry department of the University of Ghana Medical School at Kolebu in Accra. The facility, dubbed the Melody, was named after the first female pilot for the Ghana Air Force, squadron leader Melody Dankwa, who herself suffered from some level of mental depression while in active service and out of service. It was funded by the Department of Psychiatry with support from the private sector and has been designed with the necessary ancillary input to ensure efficient teaching and delivery of mental health services in the country.
All right, you also story about 7%.
Further details on that story on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. And a study conducted by 3 institutions has revealed that 7% of the country's productivity is lost ordinary Ghanaians due to mental health. This was done by ISA in collaboration with Yale University and the Department of Psychiatry of the University of Ghana. And then they also talk about the low access of Ghanaians to mental health facilities and treatments. As the low access is due to geographical barriers, economic challenges, stigma, lack of human resources and training opportunities, as well as inadequate infrastructure.
Let's go to the Labour Commission and GBC. NLC has summoned GBC staff and fair wages over the blocked allowances impasse. The National Labour Commission has summoned the staff of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation following a threat of industrial action. This follows a notice to the NLC filed by the FWSC, which is Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, on the planned strike by the GBC workers. Now, there's been an impasse between GBC workers and the Fair Wages Commission in the past few weeks after the latter, through stopped the payment of allowances to some workers of the company. A statement issued by NLC said, "We received a complaint as above dated 5th June. We are therefore directing you to come for a meeting." Now, the workers, on the other hand, have appealed to Information Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah and also asked for intervention in relation to some of the matters that they have raised on the issue. They've petitioned the minister over their blocked allowances. Now, the story is basically saying that, according to the workers, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission wrote to the controller to stop the payment of certain allowances, and in a joint petition signed by the Divisional Union and Senior Management Staff Union to the Ministry of Information and to the Labour Ministry, the chairman of the union, Sam Natkevo, said, "In conclusion, we humbly request your good officers to call the CEO of the Fair Wages to order and ask him to reverse the illegal directive." If you drive in front of GBC, you'll see the red bands there. So we don't know if the strike has happened yet, but the Fair Wages is trying to, the Labour Commission is trying to avert that by inviting them for a meeting. So watch this space. Let's come back to you.
Okay, if you go to still with the Ghanaian Times, let's talk about anthrax. Now it's happening in the Upper East region, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has banned the movement of animals within, into, and out of the Binduri district, following the confirmation of a case of anthrax in the area. Anthrax is a zoonotic disease caused by a bacteria in livestock and is transferable from animals to humans. A statement signed and issued by the Sector Minister Brian Champon in Accra yesterday prohibited the consumption of animals found dead from the affected areas.
Let me take you to the court. Two big things happening there on page 20. The Supreme Court has upheld an appeal by Ghana Telecommunications Company against a Federal High Court in a land dispute with Ojedom Obrenu Kwesiata, the fourth chief of Gomoa France in 2017. In 2020, the Court of Appeal in Cape Coast affirmed the High Court judgment, but in a short ruling delivered by Acting Chief Justice Doche, the Supreme Court unanimously set aside the Court of Appeal judgment with all consequential orders and reserved the reasons for the decision to be delivered today. Now, speaking of Justice Jones, Victor Maulom Doche, he has bowed out from the judiciary, and that story is on page 37. The acting chief justice who delivered his valedictory judgment yesterday was described by judges, lawyers, family, and friends as a distinguished jurist whose integrity, fairness, deep appreciation of the law, and compassion had left a lasting impact on the law and the administration of justice. And I think he will always be remembered as the judge who did Mensa and Mensa, which is the case that gives equitable distribution of assets to spouses. You know, that was a seminal.
I think we should be doing like some of these judges when they retire, some lectures to sort of put together some of the seminar judgments they've put together. Now, on the economy, Ghana has sent debt restructuring proposals to official creditors. A story on citybusinessnews.com. So the country has sent a debt restructuring proposal to its official creditors. Two sources with direct knowledge of the matter said, as Ghana battles to escape our worst economic crisis in a generation. Now, the working proposal is a crucial first step for the cocoa, gold, and oil producing country to engage our official creditor committee after its formation in May, and is not legally binding. One of the sources said. Now, we know that the country intends to finish the restructuring of our domestic debt before turning to the negotiations with official bilateral creditors and international bondholders. Now, still on the IMF, a staff team has arrived in Ghana to assess implementation of the Economic Recovery Program, and the first assessment is due this month of June. So a mission staff from IMF will arrive in the country today, June 7, to assess the implementation of the ERP, the Economic Recovery Program. This will be the first visit by the team after the approval on May 17 of the $3 billion loan. Now, City Business News can confirm that institutions, including the Bank of Ghana, the Finance Ministry, and other relevant stakeholders will be engaged on the way forward during the one-week visit by the mission. So watch this space.
Well, the Vice President is on page 3 of the Chronicle, and he says Ghana's economic opportunities for private sector investors are back on track as the country is navigating its way out of the global economic meltdown. He noted that the government was relentlessly refocusing on economic growth and working hard to regain the trajectory Ghana was on and get back to pre-COVID growth numbers. He was speaking at the 3rd Ghana Investments and Opportunity Summit in London yesterday.
Well, since Baumia has been mentioned, published gold for oil policy document to improve transparency. Dr. Steve Mantiao, spokesperson for civil society organizations in extractive industry. Dr. Steve Mantiao is demanding the immediate publication of the policy documents regarding the gold for oil policy. Expressing concern over the lack of transparency surrounding the policy, Dr. Mantiao emphasized the need for a disclosure of the agreement's terms and conditions. He made these remarks during the launch of the 2020 Ghana Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative report. He believes that providing comprehensive details around the policy is essential to dispel any suspicions and ensure its transparency.
Well, some good news for the school feeding program. On page 2 of the BNFT, the government has received $150 million additional financing from the International Development Association for the Ghana Productive Safety Net Project 2. The funding, according to a statement released in Washington by the World Bank, will expand and enhance social safety nets and provide access to productive income-generating opportunities for the poor. It also supports the Ghana School Feeding Program, the country's largest social assistance program, which reaches 3.6 million children in public kindergartens and primary schools across all 261 municipal, metropolitan, and district assemblies.
On that issue, the Minister for Gender has been speaking to Citi News. She was on face-to-face with Sanda, and she's debunking claims that all caterers under the school feeding program are MPP members. Now, I interviewed one of their spokespersons, and she admitted that she was an MPP member and that most of them were. Now, responding to this particular claim, because the spokesperson has said this to us, Dorothy Oforisapong. Now, responding to this on face-to-face, hosted by Omar Sanda, Madam Lariba Ziwera Abudu said she was not aware of the claim, added that it was impossible for her to know the political affiliation of the thousands of caterers who have been contracted. And you will hear. They themselves have come out to say they are MPP, so I don't know your problem.
No, but I'm saying she doesn't even need to deny this.
I don't even know
what. That it's almost convention.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah, everybody knows this.
Let's do some politics. Asin North is in the news a lot, and there's a war of words between the NDC, the Electoral Commission, all kinds of things are going on. So if you go to Citi Newsroom, for example, the lead story there is the EC is replying Sami Jemfi and saying that his claims are baseless and unfounded. Now, the Electoral Commission has asked Ghanaians to ignore the baseless and unfounded allegations of Sami Jemfi, National Communications Officer of the NDC, are concerning the upcoming Asin North by-election. In another statement, the Commission said the qualification criteria for parliamentary candidates are outlined in Article 94 of the Constitution, which states that a person must be a registered voter of at least 21 years, either hail from or reside in the constituency for a total of 5 years within the last 10 years. Now, this is in response to claims made by Mr. Jemfi that the EC just relied on the 92 Constitution to determine the qualification of a parliamentary candidate. But the Commission dismissed Mr. Jemfi's claims that the EC should also consider the provisions of CI 127. They are also saying to him that he should go out and campaign and stop and leave us alone. So there's another angle here.
There is?
Go out and campaign and leave us alone. EC rebukes Sami Jemfi. So EC has slammed the same gentleman. And
the EC?
Yes. I'm just reading a story. So the EC has slammed the communication officer of NDC, Sami Jemfi, and the NDC for putting out false claims aimed at maligning the integrity of the commission. An NDC statement signed by Mr. Jemfi alleged that the EC was colluding with the governing MPP. So this was yesterday's story, to field an unqualified aspirant in the upcoming election. The EC responded to the claims and said Mr. Jemfi's arguments were flawed. And then at the end of the statement, they said, Master, go out and campaign and leave us alone. So
that?
I'll read it. I can. So the attention of the commission has been drawn to another misleading. How can I be joking? The statement is.
Yeah, because I'm saying it's all well and good to put facts out there. But
so the last but one paragraph.
That is not
last but one paragraph. So he said, let me read the last three. Over the years, Sami Jemfi and his party have put out false claims aimed at maligning the integrity of the EC. This was evident in their petition to the Supreme Court after the 2020 elections, alleging that they had won the elections. It is well known that they could not provide evidence in court to support the allegations. This current allegation is no different. It is baseless and unfounded and a figment of the imagination of the National Communication Officer. We call on all well-meaning Ghanaians to ignore it. Ghana's democracy has come of age, and we call on Sami Jemfi to exercise maturity, decorum, and truth in his discussions on the EC. We urge him to go out and campaign and leave the EC alone. I'm telling you. They conclude, as a commission, we remain committed to conducting transparent and peaceful, credible elections. We will devote our time to fulfilling our constitutional mandate, having provided the public with the truth on the matter.
I'm sorry, but Dr. Bosman Asari requires some training.
No, it's not him. This is Public Affairs Department.
He runs it.
No, I don't know. No,
he runs it. That's Dr. Bosman Asari's place.
There's no name attached.
No, but I'm just saying, Bernard.
Yeah, but that's not the kind of language.
Yeah. Requires some training. This is purely on a professional level.
Maybe they are responding to him in equal measure.
No, but they are not supposed to respond to him in equal measure.
You cannot go out and campaign in a
It is
state.
not language.
No.
I can
Any state entity.
actually read the full statement. The language is
No.
It's
See,
very like
there is room for the EC to respond to untruths.
Yeah, but the language
But
is very
the language
formal.
should be professional.
Very official.
You understand?
Very
There
businesslike.
is a way these things are supposed to be. You cannot go out. It is not social media.
No, what I'm saying though is that nobody put their name under it. They just say public affairs department.
All of them.
So there's no ownership.
All of them.
Anyway, let me give you more stories on page 4 of the Republic Press. Stop stereotype of Fulanis. Fulani community in Ghana. The Fulani community in Ghana has expressed displeasure at a cross-section of Ghanaians who they claim constantly attack and kill innocent members for crimes committed by individual members of the community. They went on to describe the situation as typical stereotyping and discrimination from Ghanaians and other ethnic groups. They organized a press conference in Accra and spoke about this. Mr. Deep Sani was the one who addressed it and wants this to change.
Our Bambamin SIM card has been deactivated. Despite registration. This is Samuel George claiming. MP for Ningo Pram Pram, Samuel George says the Speaker of Parliament's Bambamin's official SIM card has been deactivated despite undergoing a SIM card registration exercise. Now, we know that over 8 million unregistered SIM cards were deactivated by the various telcos firms after the May 31 deadline announced by government for registration. Although the minister had been scheduled to appear before Parliament on Thursday, June 8, to apprise the legislators on the exercise, some judge stressed the need for the minister to appear on time to address concerns regarding the issue. And he says that the Speaker of Parliament SIM card, well, if he hasn't registered it properly, it will be
disconnected. That is what it is.
That's unless, of course, it was a mistake. But
we've all been disconnected. So
yeah.
that is the
So
issue.
now I just want to take you to Kumewu. There's a story on my journal that's quite interesting.
What's happening?
Kumewu construction of roads. Residents are happy with the pace and quality of work. Now, some residents of Kumewu in Ashanti region are happy with the pace of work in the construction of roads in the area. They claim the speed of the work experience ahead of the by-election has slowed. you cannot overspeed now. They also doubt the quality of work considering the project lacks a drainage system. Construction of roads in Kumewu constituency took off after the death of MP Philip Basua. The timing of the development was questioned by both residents and a section of Ghanaians, claiming the swiftness and was due to the impending by-election. Now, though the contractor is on site, some road users claim the work is progressing at a snail pace now compared to speed of work ahead of the by-election. Before enjoying the by-election, the road links from Bodomasi to Besori, Wuraso, and Kumewu Township saw facelifts. Currently, the Wono Township has been asphalted, but motorists are uncomfortable with what they describe as selective construction work by the contractor. The contractor is asphalting towns along Kumewu route, leaving out major works on the routes. They fear the contractor will leave the site after completion of the town routes. Meanwhile, the residents are appealing for the construction of speed bumps on the route. No, I think the team has moved. They moved to Asin. They moved to Asin.
The construction team, they found a new location.
No, I think Asin is right.
They should go to Asin and drag all the excavators back because the location has changed.
You know, when you pretend to be, when you pretend to be working, you also pretend to be paying you. Oh my
anyway,
God.
brother, let me take you to the BNFT where they are reporting some good news. There's a $1.3 billion fertilizer complex that will be
Where is that?
operational in Suez. In Takrady.
Oh, tell me about that.
Yes, the project is expected to be operational within the next 3 years and aims to leverage Ghana's natural gas reserves and boost the agri sector while reducing input costs for farmers. The Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, Minister of State and the Minister of Finance, made the announcement during the launch of the 2020 Gaiti reports for the mining and oil and gas sectors.
All right, there's an editorial here. One accident too many along the Accra Cape Coast Highway. This is the Herald's editorial, and I agree with this. And they're basically saying that something needs to be done about that particular road because the accidents are just too many.
All right, the Ghanaian Times' editorial says, producing fertilizer locally, a panacea to farmers' access problems.
Very important indeed.
That's an argument they are putting out.
I agree with them completely.
Let me take you to Nigeria, Bernard International.
Okay, we're doing some editorials now, but
okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Finder?
Finder says curbing the anthrax outbreak vital. So
the Chronicle says that in Asari Nogopo Bruhaha, let there be peace, we plead. Which
and
is
the Daily Graphic says we don't need communal violence.
All right, so let's go international.
Okay, so Nigeria's main trade union has suspended its call for a nationwide strike to protest against the sharp increase in the price of fuel following the government's decision to stop subsidizing it.
Mhm.
After hours-long meeting with the government, the Nigeria Labour Congress President Joe Ajaero said the decision had been taken to give more time for negotiations. The court has ordered unions to desist from industrial action until an application filed by the government is heard on June 19, 2023.
Meanwhile, there's a challenge in Ukraine. A dam has been breached. The destruction of a major dam in Ukraine will have grave and far-reaching consequences for thousands of people. The UN has warned. This is after the two countries accused each other of blowing up the dam on Tuesday. Then in the United States, 7 have been shot and 2 killed at Virginia High School graduation. 2 people were killed and 5 others injured in a shooting that took place during a high school graduation at Richmond, Virginia. The shooting outside the Atria Theater sent students in graduation gowns running for safety, U.S. media reports. School officials say the shooting took place during a ceremony for the Huguenot High School. Another graduation scheduled for Tuesday was postponed and all classes cancelled as of Wednesday. Now, the victims were an 18-year-old man who was part of the graduation class and his 36-year-old father. Police have yet to release their identities, and a 19-year-old suspect has been taken to custody, according to interim police reports. Charlie, the U.S. and their guns. Meanwhile, there's a story here that's not good. Begoro Presec is in ruins. Eastern File.
Oh, Begoro.
Yeah, we Presec, we are plenty. Yeah. So, meanwhile, police have also seized cocoa beans in oil drums. Charlie, the Ghana Cocoa Board Intelligence Unit at Asamankese has intercepted cocoa beans packaged in 35 oil drums for smuggling at Esukol near Asamankese in the eastern region. A total of 35 drums, which look like containing oil, but rather cocoa beans, were seized in a Kia vehicle. Charlie, the cocoa thing, the price is struggling and people are also stealing. We have to stop that.
There's a lot happening, Bernard.
Anyway, so we'll leave it here. That was a newspaper review. Coming up next is the business news.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how be your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that.
Yes, so
somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
It's fast approaching 7 o'clock. Citi Business News brought to you by MTN. There's good news for SMEs. With SME Plus, you get to manage all communication and operational costs. Service allows you to choose from affordable packages and enjoy talk time, SMS, data, and business content all bundled into one. The other exciting news is you get free on-net calls every Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Simply dial *5060# to sign up today. And GOIL is also proud to be associated with the business news. Our Super XP 95 and Diesel XP are the best quality fuels with high performance in town. A Super XP 95 is high-grade fuel sold at the same price as normal fuel. And our Diesel XP is low in sulfur, making it an eco-friendly option for your vehicle. With over 440 stations across the country, join the family that rewards you with quality for an energized driving experience. GOIL Good Energy. Nana to 4 Buttings back with the Citi Business News. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard, and good morning to you out there. Welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, GOIL, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. Coming up, Ghana sends debt restructuring proposal to its official creditors as part of economic recovery program. And Chamber of Mines pushes for law to ensure payment of mineral royalties. Let's bring you the details of our stories now. Ghana has sent a debt restructuring proposal to its official creditors as it struggles to escape its worst economic crisis. According to Reuters, the working proposal is a crucial first step for the country to engage the official creditor committee after its formation in May. It also marks the opening of a more detailed negotiating process that will likely see a few proposals being exchanged. Ghana intends to finish restructuring its domestic debt before turning to negotiations with its official, bilateral creditors and international bondholders. Ghana aims to cut $10.5 billion in interest payments on its external debt over the next 3 years to successfully implement a $3 billion loan deal from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The restructuring of debt is under the common framework process set up by the G20 in 2020 to bring China and other newer creditor nations into joint sovereign debt restructuring negotiations for its external debt rework. Now, a mission staff from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, will arrive in the country today to assess the implementation of Ghana's economic recovery program thus far. This will be the first visit by the IMF after its board approved Ghana's $3 billion bailout on May 17. After the arrangement was authorized for Ghana, it enabled an immediate disbursement of $600 million, with the rest expected to be disbursed in tranches every 6 months after program evaluations agreed by the IMF Executive Board. Citi Business News can authoritatively report that key institutions, including the Bank of Ghana, the Finance Ministry, and other relevant stakeholders, will be engaged on the way forward during the visit. This assessment by the IMF mission staff is also to pave the grounds for the fund to conduct a thorough review of the targets under the $3 billion 3-year extended credit facility later in June this year. Now, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has indicated that the government will continue to strengthen the private sector to enable it thrive. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia said despite the current economic challenges, Ghana still remains the best country on the African continent for investors. The Vice President was speaking at the 2023 Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit, where he also expressed optimism that the fortunes of the economy will soon take a turn for the better.
Improve services offered by the regulatory structure, increase the ease of doing business, preserve fiscal discipline, and encourage greater transparency and accountability to create a conducive environment for business to thrive. We are number one in the world in terms of access to financial inclusion. Indeed, Ghana is well positioned in the area of investments. Ghana is one of West Africa's investment bright spots and has ranked as the number one destination for doing business over the last decade.
That was the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The Ghana Chamber of Mines wants a law enacted to ensure payments of mineral royalties by mining companies. According to the Chamber, despite the establishment of the Minerals Development Fund, the allocated funds have not been effectively disbursed. Making the call at the launch of the 2020 Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative report, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Okoni, highlighted the repercussions of the absence of a law.
One of the few things we did was to push the agenda for a Minerals Development Fund. And as we speak, I'm now a member of the board of the MDF. But I guess those of us who did the advocacy for the law to be passed so that rather than administrative fiat for plowing back a portion of mineral royalty back to communities for development would be quite sad, because what we envisage is not what is going on. You speak with the MDF secretariat. No, please, not too sure how much monies would actually flow, and even the timeliness of it, although the law says that within the next business day, once you receive the money, let it go where it has to get to. So we are talking about certainty here. When you are talking about planning, you expect funds to go into development projects. How can they plan effectively when they are not too sure when to receive the money? You have cost overruns and so on and so forth. So I think it's something we need to look at.
Suleimanu Koni is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. Tech analysts have expressed concerns over the potential risk of artificial intelligence (AI), which were exposes to businesses, largely attributing these concerns to a lack of knowledge. Speaking at the first of 4 forums of the 2023 City Business Festival on City TV under the theme Reimagining the Digital Economy, the panelists shed light on the intrusive nature and powerful algorithms inherent in AI, which can be manipulated to significant effect. There is more in the following report.
Senior Manager of Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management at MTN Ghana, Benedict Bento, acknowledged the potential of AI to enhance job efficiency, but also highlighted the importance of being aware of the associated risks.
If we are trained in data science, we know how to harness all that data. And essentially, the AI is just a machine or a system that's taking all that data and processing it at a faster pace than a human mind would. So it could generate the essays and all that.
Chief Executive Officer of TechGov, Franklin Asari, suggested that discussions about AI should begin with addressing the issue of data ownership.
Do you notice that these days when you speak and you say you want to eat pizza or whatever, before you know it, there's a pizza ad? Yeah. And most of us don't have a clue as to how to block them. That will be part of the immediate digital education because your privacy has been intruded.
The Chief Executive Officer of ZPay, Andrew Techi Apia, also called for comprehensive discussions to establish a social contract that outlines the ethical guidelines and regulations surrounding AI implementation.
Urgently, we should start having conversations around I use social contract.
The head of digital and payments for Absa Bank Ghana, Horatio Dodu, emphasized the need for businesses to reinvent themselves in order to adapt to evolving customer demands and technological advancements.
And from a personal perspective, we shouldn't be worried about AI coming to possibly take over our jobs. I think we as a personnel need to see how best we can reinvent ourselves to be able to accommodate what the technology is bringing to the markets. That's what I think.
That was a Business Desk report. Now, Senior Manager, Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management with MTN Ghana, Benedict Bentil, has stated that to maintain consumer trust, businesses and online marketplaces must take measures to safeguard their customers against fraud. E-commerce in Ghana has witnessed tremendous growth in recent years, with the number of online shoppers increasing year on year. Highlighting measures put in place by his outfit to check fraud in the sector, he noted that the government must continue to enforce laws that provide consumer protection for businesses. Benedict Bento made these remarks on the on-air series of the City Business Festival, which continues this morning.
It's a big factor. I think a lot of people, I keep mentioning the trust ecosystem because it's a big problem in Ghana. I think it's just the past few years that we've been able to actually establish addresses, and now we are registering our phone numbers as well. So now I think it's slightly safer than before, where now you know if you are dealing with this individual, there is a record of the person's location and details. Now, when it comes to a company like MTN, we are moving away from, we're actually moving towards the online. If there's anybody who is not selling online, we are moving all our services online.
Benedict Bentil is the Senior Manager, Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management with MTN Ghana. The full interview comes off at 9 a.m. on the Citi Breakfast Show. This year's edition of the City Business Festival is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM in partnership with ABSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo, MTN Business and ZPay with support from Gesal. Now, on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar gained a peso and is selling at 10 cedis 98 pesos. The British pound lost 2 pesos and is selling at 13 cedis 63 pesos. The euro also lost 2 pesos and is selling at 11 cedis 74 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus in the capital, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis 70 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 14 cedis 50 pesos. The euro is going for 12 cedis 45 pesos. Let's now join Gillian Hammer of Data Bank for part one of the topic, why you should know your retirement number.
Do you know your retirement number? You are likely to say no, and you're likely to wonder what I'm talking about. So let me explain. Your retirement number is the amount you should be investing regularly. At DataBank, we like to say monthly to achieve your retirement goal. There are many people listening who are in their 20s, 30s, even 40s, and they believe they've got time. They don't need to think about retirement yet. But no matter who you are, retirement will come one day. And when it is time to retire, you'll need to ensure that you have money set aside for that purpose, not just fixed assets. How much money you need will depend on the kind of retirement you desire. Assuming you want 1 million when you retire at age 60, the monthly amount you need to invest towards it is called your retirement number. If, for example, your investment is growing at an average of 15% a year, and you're age 25, then your retirement number is 89 CDs a month. If you're age 35, it's 367 CDs. The longer you wait to start, the higher your retirement number gets. At DataBank, we recommend you start preparing for retirement today.
That was Gillian Hammer of Data Bank, and then the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, GOIL, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. Have a good business day.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions,
and send tweets,
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Playing on the track.
30 minutes past 7. It's Wednesday morning. Okay, why was there so much traffic in Accra yesterday? I don't know what's happening. Somebody should help me. Is it the rain? Is it the roots? The other thing I wanted to say was that the flower pot construction work is a good construction, but I feel like they need to do better traffic management, honestly, because to block a major road and create an access route, but to be working at the peak of the day, and it's some way. I really think the people managing that flower pot road should be a bit more careful with the way they manage traffic. It's causing too much traffic in that area. Yesterday was traffic everywhere. There was traffic everywhere as a result of and I trace it to that flower pot construction. It's become like a major bottleneck in Accra. So we are pleading with those who manage traffic to do something about it.
Playing on the track.
Kickoff is next, brought to you by Shell. Everybody wants the best, and they want the thing that pushes them ahead, brings out the best in them. Well, your car wants this too. That's why your best bet is to give it Shell Helix engine oil, designed to bring out the best in your engine, protecting it from wear and tear while providing the power and performance needed to give you the best ride every time. So whether you're cruising on the road or battling with busy traffic, Shell Helix will keep your engine running smoothly. Choose Shell Helix lubricants in Koswahine for ultimate power, performance, and protection. And the Shell Savings and Loans are also proud to be associated with Kickoff. With easy access to track your funds, we offer flexible deposit products for 91-day, 182-day, and 365 days. Open a fixed deposit account with us today. Call 0577 707 700. Let's share who, let's improve life. All right. So we will bring what is left of the sports because, it's like when there's no football.
Oh, no, there's a lot going on, trust me. Yeah,
like
there's
what?
a lot. Transfer activity, takeover activity. Look, Saudi Arabia is the new hot cake in town. Like I was telling you the last time, look, it looks like we must do an explain on what's going on.
Is Benzema going?
Well, Wilfred Zaha has been offered a contract to join Cristiano Ronaldo. There's also N'Golo Kante to Al Nassr, so Obiako.
Don't they want journalists?
Oh,
so Charlie, we also need,
some Aramco and things.
We need, Charlie, we
take us away. So that's what's going on. In the headlines, Brong-Ahafo Regional Association Chairman Ralph Jambra calls for government to give the region a national standard stadium. Also, West Ham take on Fiorentina in the UEFA Conference League finals, and Saudi club Al Nassr offer Wilfred Zaha big money amid interest from Atletico Madrid. Let's get into the details now. And Brong-Ahafo Football Association Chairman Ralph Jambra has appealed to government to construct a national standard stadium in the region, which he considers to be the heart of Ghanaian football. Now, he believes that that stadium will be the best way to showcase the region's strong connection to the sport. Now, Jambra made these comments ahead of the upcoming All-Star Festival, which is set to take place from June 20 to June 22 in Sunyani and will feature the participation of several notable Black Stars players, including Kamaldeen Sulemana and Jordan Ayew. Let's listen to Ralph Jambra.
But I'm sure that, when we continue to put these narratives out there that we are the spiritual home of football and that we've done so much for the development of the game, private entities and government may want to take a second look at the region and say, maybe it's time for us to put an edifice there to serve, the people of the Brong-Ahafo region. Business is to ensure the continued development of football in that region. When it comes to infrastructure, of course, we know there could be public-private partnership. There could also be the government of the day thinking, well, it's time to put a stadium there.
So you heard Ralph Jambra, Brong-Ahafo Regional Association football chairman there. Let's move on to some other stuff. In Brighton and Hove Albion defender Tariq Lamptey says he wants to continue to improve his knowledge of the game under the tutelage of head coach Roberto De Zerbi. Now, the Italian replaced Graham Potter at Brighton and led them to the Europa League for the first time in their history. Now, in an exclusive with City Sports, Lamptey revealed his desire to continue improving under De Zerbi's guidance.
Yeah, I think like you touched on, I had a great gaffer in Graham, and now I have a great gaffer in the new manager right now. And I just tried to make sure that I can be like a sponge and soak up all the information that they give. They have so much knowledge of the game. They both have ways where you can play and improve your game in different ways. And I think as a young player, that's what it's all about. You're trying to learn, develop, and bring out the best version of yourself. And I think he's allowing us to play on the front foot, more attacking football. And I think you can see the way we play. We do the exact same thing in training. So we're really excited to continue the journey.
So you heard Black Stars and Brighton defender Tariq Lamptey speaking there. Let's move on to some other stuff. And Frenchman Karim Benzema is in the news. He has completed his move to Saudi Arabian side Al Ittihad, signing a 2-year deal reportedly worth more than 100 million euros per season. But he said his final goodbyes to his Real Madrid teammates.
It's so hard for me to speak right now. I would like to express my gratitude to Real Madrid, to my teammates. It was a beautiful journey. I was lucky enough to live my dream, to make my dream come true. This is the best club in the world. I think that the time has come for me to move on and to try to write my story somewhere else, but everything what I've achieved here makes me really proud, and obviously this journey will always be the most important journey in my life.
A la Madrid, le voy a decir otra vez. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, a la Madrid.
So Karim Benzema bowing out of Real Madrid in classy fashion there. He has joined Al Ittihad Football Club in the Saudi Pro League. Now talking about Saudi Arabia, Wilfred Zaha, he has received a huge offer to join Cristiano Ronaldo at Al Nassr. Now according to reports, the 30-year-old has been offered a 3-year contract worth £45 million per season. £45 million, which is 15 million per season. Now Zaha's representatives have also been approached by Atletico Madrid and 3 other Champions League clubs. Now the Ivory Coast international has not made a decision on his future yet and wants to assess all his options. Now signing a new contract at Palace has not been ruled out, with his current deal set to expire at the end of June. So that's what's going on with the transfers in Saudi Arabia. Let's get to the Europa Conference League final. It's West Ham versus Fiorentina. Now West Ham defender Thilo Kehrer says his side is confident heading into the final today, and they are hoping to get victory.
Be the biggest thing, and that's what we are aiming for. I've said it at the beginning of the season without knowing how the season was gonna go, but I said bringing a title to West Ham is a big goal. We have certainly the squad to do it. We have the quality, we have the surroundings, so we are very confident going into this final.
Now West Ham goalkeeper Alphonse Areola has also been speaking ahead of the game.
We know the expectation. I posted after the semi-final that we're history makers. Now we have to finish that story. To win that trophy would be the how you say that, the dot after the
icing on the cake, we say.
Yeah, the icing on the cake. La cerise sur le gâteau in French. But yeah, would be great for everyone.
So West Ham goalkeeper Alphonse Areola speaking there. Let's get to some Champions League final news. And Man City manager Pep Guardiola says the pain of the UEFA Champions League final defeat to Chelsea in 2021 has fueled his side's desire to win the trophy even more. Now City reached the final in Porto in 2021, but were beaten by 1-0 by Chelsea and crashed out in the semi-finals last year at the hands of Real Madrid. Now having knocked out Real at the same stage this season, City have since added the Premier League and FA Cup titles, meaning they are on a historic treble if they can get past Inter Milan.
I didn't speak about the players. Some were there, some don't. Yeah, it was a completely different situation. But of course, it's not like last season, it's 2 years ago, but 2 years ago is not a long time ago. And of course, we wanna finish differently, but we have to know exactly what we have to do to beat this opening in terms of approach, about the system they use, about what they do with the ball and without the ball. This is where they have to be focused.
Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola also has described the appointment of new Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou as a great addition to the Premier League. The 57-year-old Australian has signed a 4-year contract at Spurs and will begin in his new role on the 1st of July. Now, the former manager of Celtic replaces Antonio Conte, who was dismissed in March, with Christian Stellini and Ryan Mason temporarily leading the team in the interim.
Absolutely. Another exceptional manager is coming. I was lucky to meet him in Tokyo years ago when he was manager from Yokohama, one of our clubs in the City Football Group. And it was an interesting chat, and I have a very good relation with the owner for Celtic Glasgow. He made an incredible job, and he will do an incredible job. And the Spurs, hopefully, we can score 1 goal away.
Pep Guardiola speaking about new Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketia, the small sport at citysportsonline.com.
The king.
So let's look at our digital economy as a country. Where are we? Where have we gotten to? You look at the likes of Denmark, US, UK, and they're doing great things. We're all worried about this AI thing, where we'll get to that point. But as a country, we have challenges with access, with cost, infrastructure, all that. Where are we?
Well, look, I think it's not a case of where we are, but I think it's a case of where do we go from here. I believe we started building a digital economy. Maybe it started in the fintech revolution. There's been a few logistics conversations, right? But I'm not even going to talk about enablers from a policy perspective. Let's talk about enablers from IoT. And
break the words. What is IoT?
IoT is Internet of Things. Our ability to leverage the internet to get these billions of activities to happen. At the cusp of cost going down of IoT equipment, it's even going to be much cheaper for this digital economy to lift up.
Yeah.
We are at the point in our market, Ghana specifically, where I think the enabling conversation is availability of IoT platforms. I think MTN has done a wonderful job. I mean, respectfully, got to give credit where it's due. MTN has done a wonderful job. Vodafone did some part of it. They're still on that journey. Then we need to also start to look at the likes of fulfillment, because you cannot have a digital economy without fulfillment. You're probably wondering what is fulfillment. Fulfillment is the reason why you're able to buy on Amazon and you receive your goods, because the back end is that infrastructure, which includes human beings and logistics to bring it to your doorstep, right? So if you look at fulfillment, Global came into our market, they did a wonderful job on fulfillment. It will be great that local entities that also understand the local economy would also come up with fulfillment platforms to join what Global has done. It will be good that we have a certain nationalistic pride that says that for the first time, we're also going to lift local companies up and give them those opportunities and then teach them that efficiency to get to the destination, right? I also think that some of the enabling conversations is the fact that we desperately need to redefine what's a startup. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Our parts of the world, you can't even get a bank loan, let alone get private equity support to you. But if we start to redefine the startup conversation, then maybe even banks will start to look at startups differently and therefore give them that handholding to support them so that they have the resources to support the infrastructure. You understand? So I think from a digital economy perspective, where are we going is a conversation. Because we've done something. Clearly we've done something. Then I think also maybe, and I'm talking to private sector, not even government, maybe the schools need to start embracing entrepreneurship 101 so that we start to teach. I have a very good friend. She spends a lot of her time on antique platforms, looking at different antiques. I didn't even know the world of antique was such an exciting thing. But there are antiques in Ghana. People offload furniture. People offload different things. These are marketplaces. Do you understand? That's why I started by, look at how they've reimagined the world. Uber. Look at how Facebook has reimagined the world. The largest media platform has no content. And that's Facebook. In fact, today, I think they own Instagram. So they have multi-layer platform. If you come to Africa, WhatsApp is even considered a social media, right? So it's really how we also bring that to the classroom so that that reimagination would happen.
So you want us to move, go with it. Time is going.
And I'm not even talking about government. I'm not talking about policy.
Us.
Just the private sector. So if you have a school and you can hear my voice, can you bring entrepreneurship 101 into this conversation from a digital economy perspective? You know what I mean? Then ideation. How do we start to take ideation so serious that when people have ideas, we don't just brush it aside. But then we say, look, how do we make money first this? So I think it's really where we're going from this journey we've come to.
Okay, let me bring you Benedictine. Where we're going, you guys have done great with the mobile money thing. Great infrastructure you're developing across and all that. From where Andrew lives, continue from there, what you think we can do in terms of moving to the next level? The world is gone.
Okay, so I think we all recognize that we experienced a brief acceleration during the COVID period, but it's not to trick ourselves into thinking we are there. There's still a lot of work to be done. There are components of the digital economy that are still in the infantry stage, and then others are far advanced. So, for example, the trust ecosystem, that loans issue, getting people facilities, we are just turning the curve on getting digital addresses. So that contributes to allowing people to access those kind of facilities. Other things like maybe security and building the necessary infrastructure that make people trust the digital economy. And then you move into educating people on how to transition into full digital adoption. But where we are is on a fast pace, and I believe we need to keep driving it and not fall behind. The world has advanced, but in the context of Africa, I think we are doing quite well, but there's still some work to be done. In the space of MTN, like he mentioned WhatsApp, we have a social media, not a social media, a super app that has about 2 million subscribers. From that base, what can be done for those people, their transactions over the internet, all their interactions with retail and logistics, services. Largely, I think retail has done well when it comes to the digital economy, but there are still a lot of services that need to come on board. We are not going to deceive ourselves into thinking we are there. The journey is still long, and we still need to accelerate to get there.
Okay, let's look at the banking side in terms of inroads made. What are we seeing for our country?
I think the banks have acknowledged that the digital economy is the way to go. In my earlier submission, I did mention the brick and mortar versus the online space. You would realize that almost all the banks, if not all actually, in Ghana do have some form of a digital solution out there for customers. They've acknowledged the fact that the economy is changing and they need to also change accordingly. From an ABSA perspective, we've acknowledged this in partnership with almost all the players here, or panelists here. We've changed solutions that basically help the ecosystem, and that's the way we believe we can grow. Leveraging on the partnerships, co-creating solutions, coming up with smart ways of working, I think is the way to go. And from a banking perspective, that's the way we've acknowledged that digital economy is come to stay, and we're moving accordingly.
Okay, Franklin.
Interesting conversation. I would have loved to start from what framework allows us to have a digital economy in the first place. I think to have a digital economy, as we talk about in our book, you have to start with the basic level of skills. Then assess where we are with skills as a country. And we've done something. There's still room for improvement. Then there's a layer called infrastructure, which is key. Storage. Where are we?
Yeah.
Most of the storage platforms at the moment are foreign-owned. I think it would be nice if they are locally owned by Ghanaians just like us, because that is a game changer in that space.
Are we finding it challenging to have the Ghanaians take over that?
Yes, because the finance required, the money required, the funding required is quite high.
Okay.
And if you're a billionaire, it's not easy to be a Ghanaian. Because if you want to build a heavy data center, you're talking millions of 100 million, 200, 300 million, depending on the size. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to play with our local banks. If you're hearing us.
So the capital is quite on the high side.
Exactly. And we need to get in, and we need to get in now, because if we don't, we lose. And I think the partnerships with MTN and some of the local players. Then we talk about connectivity. Whether we like it or not, the players change in connectivity. We need to go satellite to be able to lower the cost. So we have to pray Elon Musk into submission and become a Ghanaian. Make sure he has
but that is not happening.
We can pray in this country, so everything is possible. So I take that seriously. And then another thing we also need to look at is the regulatory framework. For example, data sovereignty and data privacy rules need to be enforced to allow the Ghanaians to be able to save on the local platforms, because most of us will have phones here. The data is residing outside. And the ability to use that data resides with U.S. companies and the permissions also. I don't say U.S. alone. Some of them, TikTok is in China and all of these other things. If we are to play and play seriously, some of these things, using regulation, using funding support, need to be brought into the country to help us. Then my colleague here talked about e-commerce enablement. We talked about fulfillment. That is a key area. We need to make sure we can use all these, in the UK, they can use drones, that kind of thing, to drop something. I don't know what will happen in Ghana if you see a parcel coming. Somebody might just take it if it's not theirs.
Well, we have the likes of zip line and things.
Oh, yeah,
working
blood maybe they won't touch, but it's a nice.
I've had things in my touch actually.
iPhone landing on top of someone's house,
You know the thing we used to have when we were kids. Catapult.
Absolutely. But all of these things are features of the economy that we need to allow to work in.
Lydia Jan Selby, immediate past CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority. Happy birthday to you. Sky, I wanted you to do something, but you didn't come early, so I've moved on. I wanted you to, the thing you said for Fifi Greeting, I wanted to say it for my friend. It's called Ferdinand Abodakwi.
Ferdinand Abodakwi?
Yeah, today's his birthday.
Oh, Dumbaga?
He used to do the Doomsor fan.
Oh, yeah. Those days, he set up some, annex in front of Parliament.
Yes.
So if the MPs chop hot for my constituency, they will come and see him.
For Doomsor fan?
Yes, that's right. Then he will supply, goods to them so that they will go and sort the MP, the members of the constituency out.
Yeah.
Togui Cho. Akpe ebe gba inye ojigbeza. Alebe ejebe mia ade ado. Be sube de dwonanya be amega ole mia shi. Alebe Janovi Bernard Bloberi enya be glonyi cho avaya.
Gagbuleke.
Magagbuleke. Alebe chichi odoloberi katakini gakini. Koklobe metenu gakeri enye vievio.
Oh my God! I need to pretend this. Gakini. Charlie, you are too much. Happy birthday to a friend and a sister and a beautiful mother of twins, Mrs. Faustina Owari Cranting of ECG Koforidua Regional. Your good deeds will follow you wherever you go from Abraham Lincoln Damche, ECG Regional Office in Koforidua. Also, kindly wish a glorious birthday to Dr. Amma Ajimandua AEC of Pentecost Hospital, Medina, from her husband Richard, her daughter Adiela, her parents. We love you and we pray for God's blessings on you. Also wishing my son Ivan Kojo Agbenyefia Nutako a happy birthday. May God grant him spirit of wisdom and understanding and might and the fear of the Lord, from Albert Kofi Nutako and his junior brother Aseye Roland and Ewenam Akusia Nutako and mother Efua Mercy Ajekumwa. To a husband, a father, an uncle, and a personal chef, Kwabena Intri Ado, baby. May God bless you for all you do for us. We love you. From your wife, Makafui, and the kids and the entire family. Kwabena Intri Ado is with Herbalife. He's their marketing manager, and today happens to be his birthday. We call him Kobe. We call him Kobe. Yeah. And his wife calls him Baby.
Baby.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
And let me do this one for Millicent Baba Abrokwa, who says that please help me with this request. I want to wish Helena Edututu of FBN Bank Ghana, the retail department here in Accra, a happy birthday. May the heavens smile on you today as you celebrate your birthday. Wishing you the very best.
Happy birthday to beautiful Adia Penna. You are the plug of my life and the family, and you make every day special. I love you more with each passing day. I'm excited about all the upcoming future prospects. You are my beautiful butterfly, and just want to say thank you. This is from Bernard Sapong Boating to Adia Penna. And to Stella Dokua Piasa, KNUST, Department of Geography and Rural Development. Love you from your big sis Elsina and your big sis Edna Bafwewa of the Ministry of Finance. We love you so much, Stella Dokua Piasa. And on the occasion of your 65th, I want to wish Mrs. Baba Kosa Addison, a.k.a. Bakosa of New Dowenya, a happy birthday. Long life, good health, prosperity from Atu Brown inside Ashomang Estates and Joe Chum.
Oh my God.
And Bella, let me do this one quickly. Says, I want to wish my lovely husband Ebenezer Okai Ama a sweet birthday. He teaches at Anomansa MA Primary in the Suhum municipality of the Eastern Region. Listening to you as we speak. I love you so much. Pa Kwesi Chop Kiss. More comments in here celebrating people on their birthday. So this one says, hearty birthday greetings to Dr. Amma Ajimandia AC of the Pentecost Hospital, Medina. It's coming in from the husband. Okay, I think Bernard has done. And this one says that, good morning, Bernard. Please wish our daughter and sister Ariel Yehovah Da Obli. Or Yehovah Da. I don't know how to. Yeah. Okay. Of Ashaiman Jira International School. Happy birthday. We pray for God's blessings for her, and may she grow stronger and healthier in the glory of God. It's coming in from the father and mother, Elena, and the sisters Phoebe and Loy. So the father is Harry. And this one says that, good morning, Bernard. Please help me wish two lovely twins success. It's not measured solely by external accomplishment, but by the lives you touch, the love you give, and the person you become along the way as you continue to grow and evolve. Never lose sight of the incredible value you bring to this world. Happy birthday, Betha and Betty Amma Amponsa. It's coming in from your brother, Anna Jr. And
almost the whole thing is like a trick.
Yeah.
Test on your Charlie. They just the same.
It's Pokrum.
Yeah. A few more coming in. Happy birthday to Abna Efrifa of Cocoa Board SPV. This is from your friend, I believe, or your sister, Efua Chega. To you, Abna Efrifa. Love you so much. Happy birthday to you. And to my husband, Engineer Adamu Kofi Ben Mahmoud Jr., Utilities Manager of Apollonia City. Celebrating a unique personality, an amazing and kind-hearted person, a generous and loving father. A blessing to us and others. It's my prayer you receive double-fold blessings from your wife, Mrs. Bridget Ben Mahmoud, and your beautiful daughters, Muna Elios and Christine. We love you, Daddy. Also wishing my wife, Patience Dibodi, that your mom's birthday. Kindly help me tell her that in June, if June is a person, she's called Dibodi. If beauty is a virtue, you are my Sarah. If love is anointment, you heal my heart every day. It's okay. The rest, I can't read it. Happy birthday from your husband, Money Hot. To my wife and mother of my kids, Dr. Abigail Danso Abuaji of Tema General. From the kids, Cameron, Chloe, Curtis, and myself, Nana Kufo, we love you bigly.
I think let's make it a rule that if you are sending in your messages, it should not be more than,
like they say, not more than 600 words or not less than 600.
Yeah, but 600 is too much. So let's cut it down to the length of Twitter is what, 145 characters or so.
Or just put your thoughts to AI and AI will reduce it for you.
Yeah, because Charlie, the thing is airtime. So please.
Do you know the kinds of
keep it short
messages we've read? Bernard read one. The birthday message reads like an instruction manual. I remember that one so well. After every 3 sentences, the person who sent the message said, please place this song. I said, play this one. At this point, laugh.
No, it means that we have to carve out a show properly for birthdays.
Called the birthday hour.
Yeah, the birthday hour, where we do birthdays.
This one is coming into Reverend Naka, Nana Akosia Krantiankra from Ariana, Giovanna, Jason, Fabio, Wilson, and all the children at King's Service Royal House Chapel.
For a brief moment, I was expecting, when you said Ariana, and I was expecting a third non-name somewhere.
Abiana, Ariana, and all those things.
Okay, and Larry Dogbe is associating himself with the birthday message that went out. We did for Fred Abodakwe much earlier. Apparently, that's his maternal uncle.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ferdinand Abodakwe.
Oh, yeah. Fred is
he sorted me out with Doom so far.
Yeah, but these days, I know they hear of him. So
the fun's still drill. Mine is still functioning.
Oh, you're still there?
Yeah, still functioning.
Oh, yours still works?
I have, yeah.
You try.
Talk with Fred. Oh, now I'm going to come out of Bonju. No, never the gala.
It will always have a purpose.
A fan with a charger, a torchlight,
you got radio,
a power bank, a radio. And you know, he designed it too.
He designed it himself.
Yes.
He designed the fan and then he went to China to produce it.
Yeah.
So he drew it. And he said, in my country, people need radio. People need torchlight. People need charger. And then so you give me all. So they put it in the fan.
He's an inventor.
And the fan was like a box. So you put so it's not like a stand. It's like a box. When you put the fan next to your bed, it will blow left and right. And when you charge it, so when the light goes off,
and you just plug
the radio will work.
Everything will work. And if it's fully charged and you keep it on minimum, you blow it for like 12 hours.
Really? If you keep it on minimum,
keep it on minimum.
Yeah. So think about the role of creativity, and then China. China became the factory.
Allah.
So the Chinese designed, and they said the Chinese
got fair defense.
Anything you want, they can do it for you. Just design it. Or if sometimes just to tell them what you want, and they'll do it 10 times cheaper. You know, it's something we should think about, how to make things. Because if you can't make things, Charlie, you cannot really do well as a society. So please, we need to make things.
And today is African Border Day.
African Border Day.
Yes.
Border?
Yeah.
Why are we celebrating? We should remove the borders.
Yes, that is the plan.
So African Border Day is to remove borders.
To have conversations about how to expand and without borders. And improve movements within Africa and business.
What I'll say about Africa Border Day is that we need to learn to make things so that we can sell things to other markets. Because we don't make anything. We don't create anything. It's not good. We should learn to make things. Make like the fun. Look, shoe factory. We should be able to make our own shoes. We should be able to make our own clothes. Make our own textiles and fabrics. Definitely make our own meals. All right? We shouldn't be importing food by $2 billion every year. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be learning to make our own music. What else are we learning to make? Yes, there are some things that it will take you a while, like computers. You know, the technology where it's got into it. But Charlie, like food to eat, if you take a human being, as you sit here, the food you eat there, we should make it here. The clothes you wear, 90% should come from here. The belt, the socks, the supporter, we should make it here. Yes, we can say the gankui we can import because we don't have the level of technology. Your mobile phone, your tablet, your car, you can import. But if you spend all your money importing everything that this guy will use, Charlie, you are not a good country. So please, let's make it Ghana, okay? So Ferdinand Bodakpi, next time Doomsor comes, let's make the fans here. We have to make the fans here. Now let's talk about UGBS. University of Ghana Business School is pleased to announce the opening of applications for special postgraduate programs. Now, programs include Executive MBA, Weekend MBA, and Weekend MPA. And then 1 year master's programs are also available. Potential applicants and the general public are to join their virtual info session for postgraduate programs tomorrow, Thursday, June 8, 2023 at 4 p.m. Now, the link for the information session can be found on all University of Ghana Business School social media platforms. And you can also call 0501-581-492. That's 0501-581-492. So those of you who are thinking about doing a master's degree, whether it's executive and MBA or just a normal 1 year master's MBA, you can also go to the UGBS website, ugbs.ug.edu.gh, or call 0501-581-493. Another one from TDC. Final notice to all debtors and ground rent defaulters of TDC Development Company Limited. All debtors and defaulters of land bought, land management fees, license fees, ground rent, office shop rent, and house rent are advised to make payment of their debt using any of the following channels: GCB Bank Nationwide, mobile money short code *737 *46#, Ashaiman Sub Office opposite Joe Cinema at Ashaiman Market, or TDC head office near Olam Senior High School. All such debtors and defaulters are reminded that the company will exercise its right to recover possession of the affected plots and premises and redeem the outstanding amounts owed without further recourse to them if payments are not made by June 30. For further inquiries, call 059-691-3236. And can you really call it savings or investment if you have to keep paying charges on your account? At Bayport, we believe an investment account should make you more money. That's why our fixed deposit has been the preferred choice for most Ghanaians for the past 2 decades. Convenience and peace of mind is what we assure you. And this is for every CD you invest. Call Bayport on 0302-745-454. Bayport, your future now. And Bellpack tissues are one of the best things you could use. Our T-rolls are soft but not weak, strong but not hard. Our T-roll is gentle on the skin, as is the Bellpack kitchen towel. Cleans in one wipe, lasts long, and saves you money. Switch to Bellpack today and experience the perfect paper tissue. Be it pocket, napkin, toilet rolls, or kitchen towels, Bellpack is simply the best. For bulk purchase or to distribute, call 0551-144-400. That's 0551-144-400. Another quality product from Belacqua. Oh my God.
Anyway, before I get to my announcements, I just want to say a quick happy birthday to my mate from Accra Academy, Richmond Johnny. Richmond Johnny. He was in the other general arts class.
I noticed that a lot of your birthday requests are from your Accra mates, more than your School of Languages.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it was a very small
I
class.
put it to you that your Accra years were more your bonding years, because almost every birthday you do with a smile. It's an Accra. It's an Accra. It's an Accra. And I think a lot of you went to different universities.
Yes.
So a lot of
I mean, look, my School of Translators class, when we started, we were 8.
Oh, only 8?
And then...
The whole class?
You were 8. Level 100, we were 8.
Specialized.
It's a specialized area. We were 8.
Hey,
and then we had the foreigners who joined us 300. By the time, if we were 16.
You're on good, though.
We were 16.
Do you know my geography class, how many we were? We were almost 350.
But my final year directing class, we were 9.
But final year is different, because final year, like in international economics, we were like 16. Because that one you are specializing. But Charlie, level 100.
Yeah, we were 8.
Charlie, there was a course we were doing called African Studies.
Yeah.
We were like 2,000. we're doing the drama.
Yeah.
Martin Ousu. And you even get space to sit.
So yeah.
I don't even know how you mark the work.
But I mean, in June, whose birthday it is from my... Yes, Elvis' birthday is coming up. So on the day I wish here.
But also in that, so only 8 of you.
We're 8 when we started.
Are they all doing translation?
3 of them are full-time translators.
Translating from what to what?
Most of them into French, because they have a francophone background.
So some of the point in your class, so you are in the same class and you are translating English to French. Some are doing French to English.
Yes.
In the same class.
Yes. So all of us took. So for example, between level 100 and say 300, all of us, even to the end, really. But as we went along, you could tell where you were good at. So for us, the Ghanaians, we did very, very well in translating into English. And then the Francophones did far better in translating into French.
If they give you a French text, translating to English is much easier.
It will be more straightforward for me to do.
But if I give an English text and I say translate to French.
Good. Now I can, but if you handed it to a Francophone, he will do a far better job. Because culture, nuance, it's his mother tongue.
So how come translation was only French and English? Why didn't they do Spanish, Portuguese?
We did. So everybody chose a third language. I did. My third language was Spanish. Others did French. So you notice that the Togolese in our class, a lot of them did German.
Oh, yeah, because of the links.
Very good. So a lot of them did German.
So the Togolese guys can speak German?
Yeah, some of them have mates.
You know, Sky, do you know that Togo and Transvolta Togoland was under Germany before some time? So if you...
Parts of it.
Yeah, so if you go to Togo, there are a number of structures you see with German.
So some of my mates did German. Some of them had started doing German in their high school.
Wow. So did you have to learn Spanish to do translation to Spanish?
So for example, the first time I encountered Spanish in a structured form was at uni.
So you try and you still do translation to Spanish?
Yes. No, into English. So we did Spanish to English.
You know there was a boxer. A boxer came to
English.
Ghana in 2013?
Yeah, about 2014.
From what country, sir?
Where was he from?
Colombia. He came to fight Agbeko.
Yes.
Charlie, Nathan was translating the guys. The guy gave a press conference in Spanish.
It was a
and so
tough time.
when the guy speaks Spanish, then Nathan will translate to the Ghanaian journalist in English. Then when the journalist asks the question in English, he will translate to the guy in Spanish.
No, Nathan is big man.
So it means you were part of his team.
Yeah.
How did you get that job?
I didn't. I went to the airport to, just like all other journalists, to go and
do an interview.
So
they didn't contract you?
No,
they didn't know you before?
The only time I was actually formally contracted was when Game Boy Tego fought Salcedo. That was now Game Boy's team reached out to me.
But in the first one I referred to, it was by accident.
Yeah, it was by accident because we got to the airport. Then the guy and his manager and his team show up. Then I noticed that they were speaking Spanish. So I started to engage them a bit. And then now, here we were, Juno's needed voices. Do you know that actually when I did the interview, in all of that, I forgot to even record the interview. So somebody had to send me.
We call Papa Odoblo.
Charlie, somebody had to send me.
Wait, so you went there to do an interview?
I went there to.
And then it turns out the guy speaks only Spanish. So all the journalists are there, don't know what to do. And the guy too can't speak English.
Yes.
So you then become the interpreter.
So I like interpreter.
And then you forget to put your recorder on.
I forget to do it. So now somebody had to send me the voice.
Who was your editor at the time?
It was Godfred.
Look at you. So eventually you got the story.
Yeah, but the one that I was formally contracted to do was when Game Boy Tego fought Salcedo.
Salcedo from where?
Salcedo came from
Mexico.
Argentina.
Is there a difference between the Spanish they speak in Spain and the one they speak in Cuba?
Yes. The one that they speak in Spain and Cuba and Latin America is different. Not solely, but let's say 95% the same. But
is it like the difference between American English and British English, or is not?
You could say.
Does it sound different?
Not necessarily. The only difference is, for example, when I always say that when the South Americans speak Spanish, it's a little difficult to hear them. When a Spaniard speaks Spanish, it's relatively simpler to figure out what they are saying.
Why have the South Americans added their own flavor to it?
You could say so, and also because of some of the terms they use. Right?
Okay.
And it's cultural to them.
They've created some terms
yes,
that you may not
like their own language, right? So you listen to a Cuban speak a lot of, and then they'll say, they like to say a lot of el tema. What are they saying? The thing is
el tema.
Is the thing. Meanwhile, in Castellano, which is European Spanish or in Spanish that's spoken in Spain, the thing is la cosa.
Oh, so there's a big difference.
Or like el coche. So, for example, in Spain, car is coche. In Cuba, in Latin America, car is auto.
Oh, auto. Okay.
So if you don't get that very early, you do your.
So what is casa? Casa in Spain.
Casa is house. So in all globally is house.
So that one they both the Casa
Casablanca, White House.
But you know though that Spanish is, language is a very powerful thing, right? Spanish, I'm told that in the US now, Spanish is almost the second language.
Yes.
Like if you go to some states, California, Texas, New Mexico, like there are places, when I was in the US, there are places I go and you have to actually speak Spanish.
Yes.
So we are going to buy Mexican food and everybody's speaking Spanish because everybody there is working for Mexico. And I guess Mexico's Spanish is also a bit different.
Yes, slightly different.
From that.
Slightly different.
Yeah.
Even the way they pronounce, because for example, in Spain, V is pronounced as a B. That is why if you've ever heard me, if you've ever listened to me talk, I never say Sevilla. I say Sevilla.
Oh, okay. So S-E-V-I.
Yes. However, if I gave that name to somebody from Cuba to mention, he would say Sevilla.
I see. I see. So V is B.
Yes, in Spain. So usually, when you watch Spanish players and then they score a goal and then they get excited, they say this thing, vamos, vamos. It's actually written V-A-M-O-S.
So
let's go.
So it's not vamos.
You understand?
Vamos.
But the Cubans and the Latin Americans would say vamos.
Charlie, this is language. Charlie, so what did you do in school?
Me, I did a
No. What did you do in school formally? Because this guy is level 100. The party showed me a level 100 Spanish news.
That's Spanish 101. I never forget.
The
first day I sat in Spanish class. So when I went, they had done like 4 months. So I sat in Mr. Say Spanish class. Just looking at him. Then I raised my hand.
He said,
They says, Senor Nathan.
Oh, so they speak Spanish in the class.
So he would refer to you, and so like Senora is a lady. Then I asked him that, Senor, how do you say I love you in Spanish? Then he said,
Te amo.
That's the most sensible question anybody has asked me so far.
I like it. Is it te amo?
Yeah, so there are two, so you can say te amo or te
But you know what's funny though, as you said this, watching Azuma as a young boy, there were so many people he fought from, either Mexico, Puerto Rico, or some of those places. And so a lot of the names you hear, Juan Laporte, and then Wilfredo Gomez. And Azuma did a lot of time in America and the Mexico places. And I think he was highly regarded there. Because not in his weight category, most of them are from that side.
Yes, it's always been their weight.
So imagine if you were with Azuma in his team, you'll be doing Spanish translation for Azuma.
It go hard part. Let me tell you my experience.
In the meantime, you go. Another funny thing though, I was talking to Amaka Mati. I was also talking about how when Azuma went to fight, I think Gomez in Mexico or someplace, like there were only about 3 black people. He, the Minister of Sports, Azuma's training, Azuma's.
Yeah, that's in Puerto Rico, in San Juan.
Yeah, so Azuma the boxer, the minister, Amaka Amatefu, and then you had Azuma's trainer, and I think it's Catman. So And he said he was speaking Ghana to Azuma in the ring. Ask the people because that's the only.
Yile. Come on, point to us.
And I was like, I mean, it was so fun. It's like he said. So when Azuma won, he entered the ring in his suit and carried him.
Yes.
You know, and they were speaking Ghana in the ring in Puerto Rico or something.
I thought my
a lot happened.
No, but it's amazing. Like he was talking, what happens in a corner of a boxer.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're a fighter. You are fighting in a stadium, and you are fighting against maybe their national hero, and everybody, including the president, is there.
Yes.
And then there's this Ghanaian guy with 2 people supporting him. Charlie, the level of Portu you need to go and meet the guy.
Let me tell you the story from a different perspective.
Serious.
So when I had to be like the translator for Salcedo, right? So on the night, he was with his trainer, his cutman, and then him. So there's
3. Cutman is the guy who will do your.
So I was with them in the ring, in the dressing room.
So you were with them in the dressing room. So you are part of their team. Team Caicedo.
I'm coming. So here we were. It was time for the ring walk, and the cutman's hands were full. He had stuff, so I had to hold this bucket for him.
Hey, Nathan.
And then
allegiance issues.
we were walking.
Citizenship versus allegiance.
We were walking towards the ring.
Yes.
This was at the Trust Emporium, Bukom Boxing Arena.
Fresh.
But now the level of
abuse. It's like
I got at the hands of the fans. Some of the things I can't repeat. A very unprintable word.
I know.
Saying that silly old Ghanaian. What the hell are you doing?
You get something. A lot of extended fingers.
No, but the whole thing.
Initially,
there's an insult, and when the Ghana man insults you, and when the Ghana old woman insults you, it's the worst.
You know, initially when I came out, the first few seconds rattled me a little bit. I said,
and because you are guy, you understand what they were saying.
This would happen, so I just took it on the chin, and we were in this corner, and then they started playing the Argentine.
But you see the funny thing, because you are in his team and you are translating for him, even though you support Game Boy Tego, there's a certain feeling you have for the guy.
I kind of felt bad.
But you see, that's the power of language. Because you speak the same language. When the guy met you at the airport, because you speak Spanish, he already connects with you.
We could.
It's like you are my brother.
And even afterwards, when they left, his brother, who was his trainer, would regularly send me messages. How are you doing? They are still very, very,
Charlie,
very sad about it.
If you be some guy and can go store away, just go days, Charlie. But Argentina, nothing did, Charlie.
Wine farm,
No, but one day you should write about your experience in a boxing. In a boxing, what do you call it? Like
I actually did a full blown article.
Send it to me.
I did it. I shared it many years ago.
Because you know, Sky, one of the things when I watch boxing, right? When they I remember Ike De La Hoya, and they show you the room before they go and fight. It's a lot of things, you know, because the guy is in a zone. He's with only the people he trusts, and then usually our boxers, they are in opposition camp. It's like Ike versus De La Hoya for me, right? De La Hoya was in where they did a Big Bear. Where did they do it? Was it Madison Square Garden somewhere?
No, where? Where?
Let me see.
Las Vegas.
And Las Vegas. And De La Hoya is from Big Bear, California.
Yeah. It was in Las Vegas.
The room is full of Spanish-speaking people. And he's like their national icon.
I remember it was February 13, 1999.
Yes, I just finished SS. And Ike is with like 6 people. So a lot of people thought that Ike didn't do well in that fight because he dropped De La Hoya. Also dropped him. He lost some points. But what Ike was fighting, the people, the ring, to even drop Oscar in that fight, I thought it was a draw. All right. And a lot of us thought I could have knocked him out. We were told that Oscar De La Hoya was used. Where was it? Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah. And Ike.
It wasn't Amanda Lady.
Oscar De La Hoya was training. Oscar De La Hoya was interviewed. He said he trained, you know, they are welterweights. He trained with middleweights to fight Ike. Because Ike's job is one of the best in the business.
Ike is a big word.
Yes, Ike. So Oscar fought a year. And you know what I like about boxers of those days? Oscar De La Hoya knew that to cement his greatness, he had to beat Ike Quarte. Because there was Ike Quarte, Oscar De La Hoya, and Felix Trinidad. And he didn't run away from the fight. You see, those days, it's like if you are Marvin Hagler, you are Thomas Hens, you are Sugar Ray Leonard. Like, they will fight. It's not like these days that they will plan, the Anthony Joshua will come and do something. Like, if yes, and those days
they will take you on.
Charlie, if like Sky is the guy, and they will say Charlie, Sky and Obanyele, And they say, yeah, Manyele.
And talking about that, in 2020, Oscar de la Hoya granted an interview during lockdown, and he was asked about the most challenging fight he had, or the thing that made him think about life.
They asked him what led him to leave boxing.
Yeah, he said after fighting Ikote, he started to think about his life.
He said there was this kid from Ghana. I fought. I dropped him. You dropped me. I did everything. The guy, and so even though he won on points,
he knew that
fight Ike beat him. I'm telling you. I mean, I watched that fight live, and I can tell that fight should have been a draw at best. But you know, Azuma always says, take your gloves. Azuma is forever the greatest because Azuma said, Charlie, these people, we know them.
Yeah, you take your own referee.
Anyway, so we'll come back. So Nathan Kwao, the Spanish translator. It's time for Tech and Social Media Trends brought to you by FBN. Call 059-692-1921. Visit any of our branches to open a FBN First Gem account. You can also open a personal or savings account. Go to our website, fbnghana.com, for more information. Vodafone also gives you the best value data and voice offer. Dial *530#. Get onto any of our Vodafone Made For Me bundles from as little as 1 CD. Vodafone's just got what you need. Dial *530# or visit the My Vodafone app to subscribe. All right, it's already 5 minutes past the hour. Okay. And so Nathan will tell us what's trending.
Vamos. All right. What is trending? A number of things. Jachi Kwesen, obviously. Sami Jemfi is trending. The EC has...
Charlie had a statement that they wrote to Sami Jemfi.
The EC has Sami Jemfi trending. Ajinasari is trending.
You should go and campaign and stop.
Saudi League is trending. Now, for those who do not know, Karim Benzema yesterday signed a 2-year deal with Al Ittihad.
I hear Zaha is going there.
Charlie, it's crazy.
Now, they say Kante too is going.
They are offering Karim Benzema a deal reported to be worth about 200 million euros.
Oh, anybody also have asked money to go and practice our profession in that country?
N'Golo Kante is said to be next. There are reports of Wilf Zaha. There are reports of Lionel Messi. Nobody knows. But
maybe Andre should go back there so that our Ghana people should go there sometime.
Anyway, hashtag UECL final is also trending. It's the UEFA Conference League final. West Ham versus Fiorentina, and the two teams are trying to end decades-long trophy droughts. That's what is happening there.
Right.
To some tech news, and TikTok's owner, ByteDance, has been accused of allowing Chinese Communist Party members to access the data of Hong Kong civil rights protesters. Users who uploaded protest-related content were also identified and monitored. Former ByteDance exec Yin Tao Yu alleges in a U.S. court filing. The CCP members were also able to access U.S. TikTok user data. That's according to Mr. Yu. Now, a ByteDance spokesperson denied the claims and has described them as baseless. But before I leave, Bernard, I want to give a special shout to 2 accounts on Twitter. One is Enil Arts.
Enil Arts.
Yes, the other is Pencil Arts. Now, Enil Arts put out a video he did yesterday. He was on a Trotsky going somewhere. And he looked at the mate and did a pen drawing of the mate and handed it to the mate. And it was
whilst he was in the car.
Whilst he was in the car. And the joy and excitement on the mate's face.
You can actually sit in the car and draw somebody and give it to him before the car drops.
Brilliant. It's got about 42,000 views.
So it's Enil Arts.
Enil Arts. So Enil Arts, wherever you are, shout out to you. Yes, it's great. And I want to shout out Pencil Arts as well. He's been doing some great things. He's done all kinds of wonderful portraits. I think I have one. He sent me one. So Pencil Arts, shout out to you. But Enil Arts, you are the hero of the week.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. One day, an old lady inherited a huge...
Parliament on Tuesday, June 6, 2023, reconvened from recess to begin the second meeting of the third session with the swearing in of the newly elected Member of Parliament for Kumewu in the Ashanti region, Ernest Yawenim, by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin.
I, Ernest Yawenim, having been elected a Member of Parliament, do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana.
As by law established.
As by law established.
That I will uphold.
that I will uphold,
preserve,
protect,
and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana,
and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana,
and that I will faithfully and conscientiously
discharge
the duties of a member of Parliament. So help me God.
So help me God.
You are now duly sworn in as a member of Parliament for the Kumewu constituency.
Thank you, Speaker.
These are the tools you take to your farm. And as you enter, I'll be observing you to see whether you have your hoe and cutlass.
The Business Committee of the House has also programmed the Minister for Communications, Eslausu Ekufo, to appear before Parliament on Thursday, June 8, 2023, to apprise legislators on the SIM registration exercise. But prior to this, the Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, Samuel Nate George, says the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagben, has had his official SIM card also deactivated, despite undergoing the exercise. Hence, the need for the Minister to appear urgently to answer questions regarding concerns raised about the process.
We should have had this briefing today, if possible, because we are talking about over 8 million SIM cards that have been disconnected, including even the SIM card of the Speaker of Parliament, not the Deputy, but the Speaker of Parliament himself. His official SIM card was disconnected, even though it was registered in the name of Parliament of Ghana. We have judges, we have lawyers, we have doctors, MPs whose SIM cards were disconnected. Even me, my SIM card was disconnected. Our SIM cards were disconnected.
Addressing the media on Tuesday, the minority in Parliament hinted of its approval of the nomination of Justice Gertrude Tokonu as the Chief Justice of Ghana, despite the group's strong disagreement with the full judgment of the Supreme Court on the dual citizenship case involving the then Member of Parliament for Asin North, James Jachikwesen.
What they did was to enact laws, the Supreme Court, not to interpret the text of the Constitution of Ghana. James Jachikwesen is gearing up to contest the by-election in Asin North, which has been brought about by the Supreme Court's decision. In that regard, we, the members of the Appointments Committee representing the National Democratic Congress, NDC, will not withhold our approval of the Chief Justice nominee by consensus. We will not withhold our approval of her by consensus. Her CV reveals a person of considerable experience, having served as a judge from the High Court to the Court of Appeal and ultimately at the Supreme Court. Women who have acquitted themselves should be given opportunities to occupy key national offices. Even as we disagree with her jurisprudence, we find her qualified to occupy the high office of Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana.
The group also debunked some assertions by the World Bank Country Director to Ghana, Pierre-Frank Laporte, that the power purchase agreements signed under the erstwhile Mahama administration is contributing to the huge debt crippling the energy sector, which has actually contributed to the economic difficulties faced by Ghanaians.
We wish to say that President Mahama is not the cause of the current economic mess. We are in this mess because of reckless borrowing and wrongful management of the economy by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government. On the issue of take or pay, Mr. Laporte may wish to provide us with evidence of our peers in terms of countries within Sub-Saharan Africa that always succeeds in bringing in investors who are willing to spend over $300 to $600 million for projects in times of emergency without demanding any form of supply guarantee. President Mahama's record in the energy sector is unmatched. President Mahama, before leaving office, ensured that we had a comprehensive foothold.
Bailamos, let's dance.
i.e.,
Bailamos, let's dance. From the verb bailar to dance. Yes. All right. Yes, I love you.
Okay, so bailamos.
Yes, bailamos. Yes. Julio Iglesias. One time goalkeeper.
He was a goalkeeper?
Yeah, Julio Iglesias was a goalkeeper.
In which country?
In Spain. Yeah, he was a goalkeeper. I think he played football for a bit, but he was a goalkeeper.
All right, let's see.
Alrighty, yes, Imperial General Assurance is saying that your insurance experience should be memorable. When you insure with us, you have the peace of mind to focus on what matters to you because we'll be there for you when the unexpected happens. Speak to them on 0302 788 955 or 0577 667 436. Imperial General Assurance, solid protection. Now, everybody's looking for that one thing that helps them perform very, very well. And your car needs the same thing. That's why it needs a lot of Shell Helix engine oil, lubricants, It doesn't matter where you are. If you're on the open road or battling with traffic, Shell Helix will keep your engine running very, very well. Visit your local Shell station today and experience the difference for yourself. Now, today, the 7th of June at 2 p.m., the Registrar of Companies will be meeting all registered bodies and they will be discussing new developments in relation to the registration and regulation of their professional bodies as per the Professional Bodies Act 1973 NCRD 143. If you are going to attend or you don't know what to do, contact Nicholas Obinchum of the PR unit on 054 659 4859 or 0302 666 to confirm your participation by, you should have done so yesterday, but the meeting is happening today at 2 p.m. ORC, here to serve. Now, with Father's Day coming up, you want to give your father or father figure a wonderful present. Consider giving them a caveman watch. At Caveman Watches, we recognize the invaluable role of our fathers who are heroes, and they are giving away a great curated Father's Day package. Each package contains a stunning caveman watch, which is a symbol of timeless elegance. You also get caveman cufflinks, stylish shirts, grooming kits, handwritten cards, and so much more. Packages start at 2,000 cedis upwards, and there's a perfect option for every budget. Call 0557 516 744 or visit cavemanwatches.com. Caveman Watches, be remembered.
All right, a few quick comments on all the bits and bobs we've been talking about this morning on boxing, on Spanish, on music, and all of that, and on making things happen, making of funds. I can't believe people are asking for the dooms of fun. Like,
still.
Like people just want.
But it still serves a purpose, Last time, Charlie saved me.
Mine is no longer working.
Oh,
so you have to keep it on charge permanently.
I don't even know how I've put it.
Complete.
I have two. At the moment, one
you
battery has one.
So from 2015.
Yes.
Hey, you try. You have a culture of maintenance. Charlie, you kept it.
Mine is still there.
You kept the fan for 8 years.
If you are not using it, please let me have it.
The white one.
Yes, the white one.
Hey, then you're the first. Charlie becoming my fan. Charlie is poor cry.
But Bernard, quickly though, I took time to go and look at the EC statement. Bernard.
The EC statement.
Allow me a minute.
Yes. In response to Sami Jemfi.
In response to Sami Jemfi.
All right.
Allow me a minute. I've looked at the statement. Okay. I can understand perhaps the exasperation of the EC with having to constantly respond to these things, but the way these institutions, organizations are set up, you are supposed to learn how to insulate yourself from these things. Emotion is not part of your game
at all.
Okay, so the statement was very emotional, so to say. I was like, this guy is just worrying us. Get out,
And so they didn't have the language to couch it.
Language to deal with it, which is where I'm coming in.
They should have used AI.
That No, forget the AI matter.
No, because of now we use AI right now to rewrite the statement.
These
in a more
in fact,
the
send me the
quality
statement. Let me
rewrite it for them.
It's
on the website.
It's on the website.
Let me go. It's on the
website.
the title of the story is that leave us alone and focus on your campaign. EC tells Sami Jemfi.
You see, and
no, okay, no. The story says, "As in North, I'm coming. Go out and campaign and leave us alone." EC rebukes Sami Jemfi. No, but it's in that. No, it's a quote.
Yeah,
no, Sky. No. It's a direct quote from the statement.
Anyway,
or why did they use that headline? But that's the most meaty part of the headline. What should they use? For EC to write a statement and tell a politician to go out and campaign.
You know,
yeah, you were saying.
Good.
So yeah, I was saying that institutions and the various units around them, they are judged by how they are able to deal with these things. You see, you don't want to come across as being personally vested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your language is supposed to be in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Consistently.
Mm.
You do not lose it.
Mm.
Okay. I think it's something the EC needs to watch. Somebody will say, oh, in advising the EC, advise Sami Jemfi as well and all those people. That is what he's supposed to do. He's a politician. It is expected.
That's not what he's supposed to do.
No, hold on. I'm saying that it is expected.
Well, I get you. When a politician that's what they do.
That's what they do.
But that's not what we expect them to do. But
yes,
that's what they do.
That's what they do. But
EC should not be drawn.
EC should not be drawn. And it's not just EC. Like institutions, their communication should learn always to maintain a certain level of professionalism and decorum.
Yes, that is 100%.
Okay, because you leave one day and they say, oh, who ran the EC's comms department?
Yeah.
I ran EC comms. You're applying for a job at Benadavle Incorporated. Show me samples of work you did, and I bring up this statement that you wrote.
Yeah, it's some way.
It's some way. It's not professional.
It's some way.
Okay. A certain level of quality is expected. So they should just learn to calm down a bit.
So the statement was like an interview he granted on a station.
Yes, he just
freed his mind.
He just freed it. The statement is freeing his mind, which is not what it's supposed to be.
What you expect?
State the position of the organization. State your facts. Debunk what needs to be debunked. As straightforward in and as polite language as can be. If it has to be strongly worded or tersely worded, it can be done.
Yes, you can strongly say that you reject spurious allegations without it sounding so churlish.
Exactly.
Yes,
and that's where I'm talking about the skill. There's a significant lack of skill in the communication, which is worrisome.
My problem is not whether it's a lack of skill. Maybe it's just that the emotion took over the skill. So maybe
No, but if you have skill, emotion never takes over.
You can have skill, but let your emotion override you. So that's professionalism. So you see, you can have the skill to write well, but because you are angry, do you understand me? So don't.
Angry?
No, hold on. There's a difference between being skilled and being professional. You can be a skilled boxer, and then you go and fight.
And emotions take over, and you lose the sense of...
So what you are saying is that they should allow professionalism to prevail at all times.
At all times. They are not allowed to lose their heads.
That is a fundamental point.
They are not allowed to lose their heads.
Speaking of losing your head, let me just remind you that this whole month is the Citi Business Festival, and the first week is on the digital economy. This morning at 9:05, you will be hearing from my guest, Benedict Bentel, from MTN. And he will be speaking on the possibilities for e-commerce. The possibilities for e-commerce. You know, we are talking about the Doomsoft Fund. We're talking about things you can buy. And I know that there are people, even in this organization, who go online to buy things from China online. And it comes to them straight.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there are Ghanaian retail companies that look at the irony. And this is not criticism. So somebody sits in Accra, can go online and buy a shoe made in China, and it will be brought to his office in a day. Now we have big Ghanaian outlets who say that don't go and buy online because they are fraudsters online. So for example, I will announce, some of the companies will say, oh, foam company, like there are people who are online trying to impersonate us. So we don't do any business online. So between maintaining your company's integrity by not allowing yourself to be frauded, and also missing out on the huge treasure trove of e-commerce, where do we lie? And those are the kinds of things we'll be discussing on the show. I'm sure you've bought some things online before.
Oh yes.
Yes, from
all kinds of places.
Yes, and I know people who there's some lady at the newsroom. Why are you buying this? Oh, it's good. They mention the website and go and buy.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's in fact. I mean, when I was doing my dissertation, sorry to mention this again, it was one of the things I mentioned that Africa needs its own e-commerce platform, which is indigenous to us and serves our purpose.
Can you say it again? Can you say it again?
I'm saying that Africa needs its own e-commerce platform. I argued in my dissertation to support.
You mean continent-wide?
Yes, continent.
Yes.
Why continent?
He was talking about compared to Alibaba and
yeah, that's right.
But that's country.
No, you see, that's not what
China is a continent.
No, but that's a person actually.
No, hold on. Explain your point.
I want to hear him out.
Yes, talk. Say what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying that Africa needs its own e-commerce platform.
Yes,
which is indigenous to us and which serves our purpose, and which also facilitates the whole agenda of the after. Because what we have presently is you have Amazon coming in a big way. Facebook is here selling big time, and then you have Alibaba also doing their thing. My view is that is to extend ownership and data to the foreign world.
Yes.
Because ultimately, these people are holding on to our data and they are using it for their own purpose. Now, what we should do is to tailor-made a platform that serves our interests. So, if you take, for instance, in Kenya, they have a thriving leather industry, which is huge. We can hive off Kenya and make it the shoe factory of Africa, supplying all the shoes of very varying qualities that Africans, about 1.3 billion people are around Africa. All of these people, to some extent, at least even if you take half of them, wear shoes in one way or the other, or sandals. You understand? Imagine that we are able to actually hone the skills of Kenyans and make them pure producers.
I am with you 100%.
Of Afokpa,
100%.
supply to about 500 million people in Africa. You understand?
Yeah.
So you have, for instance, Nigeria next door, which is now this guy is doing fuel there. Dangote. Look at the size of resources they have in the belly of the earth, producing gas, producing oil, and all of these things. And look at the varying products that can be produced out of, petroleum, extractions. So you have jellies that can be used on the body. You have fertilizer that can be produced to feed our farms. You have fuel that can be used to fuel our vehicles. You have cooking that can be supported with, natural gas and LPG for that matter from Nigeria. So then Nigeria becomes the nerve center for the production of the much needed energy that can feed the whole of
the reason I agree with Sky is that, you see, apart from the content of what is being sold, the platform's ownership is also very crucial. Exactly. So you mentioned Amazon. Let's even talk about Spotify. All right. So the truth is that, well, you see, if you don't have control, you will never be wealthy, because most of the companies you made reference to, they are very big on storage. They have size, they have scale. So what makes Amazon strong is the computing power behind the company, which they can use to do many things. So it's not just selling. In fact, if Amazon were to do a music streaming service, they will be in the top 3 in the next 2 minutes because of the size of the space they have. They can use to create a platform that's big. So the point I'm trying to make is that, you see, our poverty is multifaceted. Number one, we don't produce the shoes enough, or enough music, or enough food. Number two, even when we produce it, we have to sell it on somebody's market, on somebody's platform, which is where I agree with you. So, and the truth is that the person who controls the platform determines the rules. All right? It's like the petrodollar and the Wall Street. It's the same thing. So if you have to go on Alibaba or wherever, you can decide how much they charge. They can decide all kinds of different things, terms and conditions you don't control. So we are claiming we are in a fourth industrial revolution. I think that one of the things we need to think about is markets. All right, so when you do a food bazaar and you bring people together as a simple market, the online version is critical. But the question is that, is the government investing in the server power to create a reliable platform that people can go on which will not crash? Are they investing in the infrastructure to support it? Are they investing in the cyber security to keep it safe? Are they investing in the logistics and supply chain management So, for example, if you say you're going to create your own version of Kiku, all right, and you're going to create a version where you are going to sell made in Ghana goods, including the Doomso fan. Now, where is the infrastructure to host that? Is it based on a server in California? That's number one. Number two, even if will you have enough products? Will you have enough products to put on so that you can benefit from scale? Okay, so if all your companies are small 2x4 companies who produce 50 shoes, 20 shoes, how are you going to? Because to be able to supply to the African market, you need a certain level of scale. Because if, like, the reason the Chinese beat us all the time is that the Chinese guy can do 10,000 and he can decide to sell it for $2 for one. All right. So there is a big conversation to be had about platforms. There's a book I read called Platform Revolution, and I feel like what you're trying to say is that if we don't invest in the products, all right. So the first piece, the product. In traditional marketing, there's something they call the 4 Ps. Product. There's called product, price, place, and promotion. All right. So product, price, place, and promotion. That's traditional marketing. Traditional economics: land, labor, capital, enterprise. Now, if you bring digital, place is now the platform. Do you know what I'm saying? Storage is now the land. All right. So, which is why education is interesting. So Nathan was remembering level 100 notes. So if I go to economics 101 and talk about the factors of production are land, labor, capital, and enterprise, that's only true to an extent. But if you come to the digital economy, land is actually, Amazon has land. You know Amazon's land is the computing power, the server power they have that can host terabytes of information that you can't. So they can run a system that can make 200,000 people go on at the same time and buy 10,000 products, and the system will not crash. So the country has to invest in servers, computing power, to be able to then host these platforms. So my point is that platform is now place. All right. Storage is now the land. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, if you think about it that way, the after thing is not about sending onions just from Accra to Lome. That's not the only thing about. After is also about, for example, music, accessing content from other parts. But we haven't created platforms that allow us to talk to each other. So, for example, we spoke to Zipe. He says right now he can send money from Accra to Nairobi, or you can make a payment from Gambia. We are still thinking traditional. How do I fly from Accra to Conakry? But look, Godfred, you can buy things from the UK online today. You can stream music from the UK online today without going there. So UK has come to you. So Sky's argument is that African countries must think about that and not always wait for somebody to come and do it, and then they will now jump on it. Because see, when the person does it, I'll tell you something. Do you know that it's easy to send money from UK to Ghana as remittance? You sending money there is a different complication. If you have a cousin in Nairobi, you want to send them money. If it wasn't for these new companies, it's going to be difficult. Now, this is my argument. We may not be able to compete with the Chinese on making Doomso fun. But the Chinese cannot compete with us when it comes to the creative sector. So the thing Chief Mumin is doing, I'm talking for us, for our consumption. Okay, so if somebody wants a shoe, they may go online and buy it at Kiku, because Kiku can make a shoe better for now than Horseman. But if Shatta does a song, okay, you can't tell me that the person in China's song will be more appealing to me than Shatta's song. So what I'm saying is that in the creative spaces, or Chief Mumin says he wants to do Mansa Musa. I want Mansa Musa. So on a creative level, we can say the taste of the people will match the demand if the platform is there. Do you understand? So for shoes, for a long time, Sky will go and buy a shoe from London because it's still better for a while. But he wants Ambole. So my argument is that number one, create a platform. And number two, use the so-called orange economy as your advantage, because you cannot compete on hardcore making things level. It will take us a long while to do even technophones. It will take us a long time to get to, because as we are talking, the technology is advancing. So Silicon Valley is not sleeping. The Chinese Silicon Valley is not sleeping. So for somebody to say they are going to do phones in Ghana, they will try. But Charlie, when it comes to creativity, the performing arts, which are authentic, that we can spend money on, it's similar to food. Okay, we have to find a way of using what we have to generate our own wealth. And I will borrow from Sky's platform and I'll draw it into the orange or creative economy, because I think that is food and the taste of food and then taste of music are easier to market than to say quality of shirts or quality of cars. So if I want a car, I can't say I should go and buy Cantanta like that, because it has not been proven over the years like that. Do you understand? So it will be a while before I'll say I won't buy Toyota. But I want Stoneboy. I don't know who the Chinese equivalent is. And there's money there too. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we need to use the ideas he's bringing around platforms and markets and then relate it to sectors that we believe our people can spend money on. In doing so, you grow the sector too, because it also increases. So look at, somebody came to do a boxing bout here. This guy got from Galamsey out of that to do translation. I'm sure somebody sold ice cream around the same area.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing. So if somebody creates music, he does a song, and 200,000 people stream the song, and they each pay 50 pesos for the song, he's making money. Then his guy who does his beat will also be paid. Then the guy who brings do you get what I'm saying? So our poverty is because we have not monetized what we have. And we keep thinking, you see, the Industrial Revolution is a great thing, but I don't know how long it will take you to manufacture cars that you will do it better than Toyota. Because Toyota started doing it, they did it better than the Americans. And the way you are even taught engineering, you are going to struggle. So I don't think we have a problem if we begin to think laterally. Okay. So maybe what we need to say is that the creative arts could be the hook for this so-called marketplace, not necessarily hardcore products. Because hardcore products, the supply chain for creating a bar of chocolate involves like 15 countries. The supply chain for creating a laptop, over 25 different countries. So if Ghana is going to become a hub for making laptops, it will take us too long.
But the supply chain for making a song is...
It's not that wild. Like a good, like, see how Obrafo is suing some guy in the US for using his song. Do you understand? So I'm saying that there are certain things that God has already given you that you don't need to go to 15 countries to put together. Okay. So if you want to compete globally, you don't start with computer. You start with what you've been given, as Achi told me in mass. All right. So you still seem like you need a bit of convincing.
You said a lot. I agree with the principle of it.
You don't need it to convince.
Samens,
my
concern, you still haven't convinced me. So on which platform will we do that?
So I am saying that. So yes, create a platform.
Continent-wide or
you can make it sub-regional.
wide?
You can start a sub-regional. Okay, Dangote has done a refinery. That's a lot of money. Now, somebody can invest in server capacity. When you do your website, most of us, our servers are based in California.
And set rules around it.
Yes.
Locally, you can look at the difference between Ghana Web and every other website in Ghana.
Because of their computing
Ghana
power.
Web is because of capacity. They have servers.
A lot.
That's why they never crash. So the server capacity is key. But I'll come to the main issue.
Yes, and that's land. So I said land is storage.
So in the digital economy, storage is land.
I'll give it to
Frank
So let me ask you
Lazari
this. So let me ask you this.
But not to cut you. You see, I think what he's saying is actually calling for a mindset.
Yes, I agree with him completely.
A mindset revolution.
I agree with him completely.
And let's come to strategy. Strategy formulation of emergentness, logical incrementalism approach. So it's step
class today
by step approach to the evolution of a particular strategy. Now, I was listening to Bernard, and I was like taking everything he was saying, because how can you manufacture better cars than Toyota?
It will take a long time.
It's not going to happen by faith, not even in our lifetime.
You need to start doing
because things have progressed so fast and so quickly. Markets have become more complex. Yes, we can do something. How about motorized version of the trolleys that the truck pushers are pushing in the market? How about that? How about the Abuboya that we can also get into to serve a lower end of the spectrum? There are things we can do ourselves. But the issue of the creative arts, we own it, we control it 100%. And the other side is that no other country can tell our stories better than we can.
Chief moment.
You see, so I think it's something that as a country, and we are not even talking as a government, as a country,
as a people,
we should
creative
bring
arts
our
and
minds back.
tourism.
Because you see, Nigeria, for me, I always make reference to Nigeria. Nigeria decided that they'll go that way, and today they are winning.
They're everywhere.
Look, Godfred, the Nigerian music industry at the end of 2021. The Nigerian music industry at the end of the year 2021 was worth $2 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
you are talking about a music industry, the global music industry of $26 billion.
And Nigeria controls too. Then they are strong. They are strong.
Yeah. You understand?
They are strong.
And if Nigeria's music industry is worth that's 22. I'm talking about 2021. So can you imagine what has happened in the last 2 years? COVID and all those things. So I'm just saying that the potential is there.
It's there. It's there.
And it is when we have first recognized that the potential is there and craft our policies in that direction, you will see how it can revolutionize our economy.
Especially when no foreign power can tell your people what to like.
Yeah.
You see, the reason I always use food and music is that you can say, you are doing whatever, trade, WTO, whatever. If Ghanaians say they'll eat gari and beans, you can't force them to eat chicken from America. Yeah. If Christmas people say we will eat zoklari, that's what we want. Right. Yeah, so I'm saying that you start from what you have. And when it comes to food and then entertainment, you see, the reason why hard goods like computers and cars are much difficult is that it's become part of our lives. Like, I can't say that because I'm Ghanaian, I won't use a MacBook Pro. I'm building a radio station, I need to use a phone, I need to use these things. So these things, there will definitely be the need to use foreign currency to buy these things. But you shouldn't be using foreign currency to buy food to eat. And majority of your entertainment. Which is why the Nigerians will say, for every Nigerian TV station, there's a certain quota of movies that have to be local. So they are trying to force you to go and tell somebody that produce a movie for me. So that, do you understand? When you do it that way, it means that a certain level of that money, people are online paying for Spotify $8 or whatever to stream music, some of which is Ghanaian. You understand? You go on Spotify, and maybe when I was in the UK, it was like £5 a month or something. And now I'm getting a much a day on Spotify. So a sizable chunk of my middle class economy is going to pay a Swedish guy's company. I have nothing against him. Now, where is Ghana's version of somebody you want to push and say, this platform, because all these guys, when they start, they get some state support. You guys understand? They get some state support. They get different things to help them to get to where they get to. What we do is that we ask the person, oh, which party are you from? Like I was telling somebody that me, if I am a politician, and so I'm using ZP as an example because I interviewed him 2 days ago. He started his company in 2015. He's in 35 African countries. I don't care what party he is. He employs probably 3,000 people. If he opens another shop in Mauritania, his GM will be a Ghanaian because he's from Ghana. If he opens 10 companies, most of the people he will work with are people from Tech or Legon. I will call the Rwanda president and say, Charlie, I have a Ghanaian guy who is doing business and you guys are giving him problems. Open the door for him. That's what you need to do. That's economic diplomacy. The Americans do it, the Chinese do it, but we don't do it. We only travel. We travel. I'm coming. I'm giving an example. And this is an industry. This guy is doing payments. Started with people sending money down. He created wallets. He's in 35 countries. He's a multinational. He's a Ghanaian guy. We don't need to care what party he belongs to. Even if he employs 3,000 people, as soon as he opens a new office in Guinea-Bissau, at least 10 Ghanaians are going there because he will trust more Ghanaians than Guinea-Bissau people. That's how you dominate. But we will carry our party people who don't know anything about business to their conference in the US and try and do some 2x4 business who don't benefit anybody. So pick 10 champions. 10 champions who are Express Pay, Haptel, ZP, as an example.
Record.
And these guys, and you know that guys, look, we are not here to do politics. There are two things we require of you. When you expand, make sure the skill stays here. If you get a partnership, make sure in 5 years. Do you understand? That's how you create that. And then you also create the management pool. So you realize that there are 50 Ghanaians who have management experience in 16 countries. Then when they come back, they can. But what you do is You are just carrying some 2x4 guys. They want contract. They want some. Just say, oh, who they are here. And so that's why we continue to be poor, because we are trying to compete in spaces that we don't have an advantage. And I'm saying that creative art and food, that's like,
and tourism, art tourism,
just like heritage caravan. So like food bazaar. You bring Jajeloy, you bring like, look, I know people in Ghanaians who live abroad. If you do a concert and you bring Wulome, they will fill the hall. They just have nostalgia.
Godfrey wants to say.
You want to ask me a question?
I want to be educated this morning. Okay, so I get the principle. I get the orientation that you are looking for. We are all for that. I'm still asking how.
How?
In terms of, hold on.
Yes.
You remember Jumia?
Yes.
What happened to it?
Yeah, but what happened to Jumia? Jumia is a foreign-owned
online shopping,
e-commerce platform.
Yeah.
I don't know who owns Jumia. I don't know if it's a Ghanaian. What I'm saying is that create the policy environment to give an advantage to your people to be strong. Most great companies start as quasi-monopolies. All right. So Dangote began as a quasi-monopoly.
Yes.
In salt, in all the things, before he became what he became.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that identify what you want to do with the sector. So let's assume you want to create a Ghanaian equivalent of Jumia. If the government, I'm coming. You are saying Jumia. Jumia brought money from abroad.
Bernard, hold on. You spent a lot of time explaining your point. Let me ask you questions.
No, but I'm not on trial. I'm not on trial.
At all. You and Sky are talking about something. I need you to expand on it for me so that I can better understand you.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem.
So he's espousing a continent-wide platform.
Yes.
Okay. I have no problem with
Supported by all the 53 member states.
So for instance, we put servers in Senegal.
Yeah.
Senegal shut off internet yesterday.
Yeah, but
how will it work?
The fact that you want a continent-wide platform doesn't mean you should start it as a continent-wide platform.
No.
Let me explain my answer.
But then it means hold on.
If
the principle, hold on.
If you say you want to create a continent-wide platform, it doesn't mean you start it in all 54 countries.
Do you want to hear me?
No.
You don't want to. Okay, let me stop.
No, go on.
Let me stop.
I'm just adding to what you said. You just asked a question about if you put it in Senegal and they shut.
Yes.
You know, the construct of these technology support systems, they deploy what we call a row hunt approach, which is the same system that most of the Western countries use to support electricity. That's why you hear that, in England, the power doesn't go off. It's not true.
It's not true.
It actually does. But there's a row hunt where the moment it does, it starts another one. So a lot of these servers are placed in remote places in different geographical locations so that they will give the adequate 24/7 support. That's just
yes, I understand that. So my point, which is why I asked the question, continent or country? Because you've mentioned ZP. So you've mentioned ZP.
Yeah.
ZP is doing what is supposed to be done by itself.
It didn't start as a continent-wide business.
It's not yet continent-wide. It started here.
Exactly.
Okay. It has grown to a certain level.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So your hope is that it gets to the point where ZPay is everywhere and ZPay becomes perhaps the only or one of top 3 or top 4 that everybody on the continent wants to use.
Possibly.
Which is what the vision.
Yes.
Okay. Which is the vision.
Yes.
So we are already at work on it then.
But that's why I come in. So when Sky says create a continent, so let's ask good question. The ZPay model, I'm saying that
let me ask you my
it gets, I'm saying it gets to a point. You see, what I'm saying is that the only role government played in a ZPay would be the fact that the policy environment at the time the company started was good enough for the guy to do what he was doing. But I'm saying that you get to a point where you must use policy to now quicken the pace of the guy's advancement. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that the government must create we are not saying government must create a multinational on their own.
No, not at all.
Identify champions, they call them unicorns, and then now use policy to support them to get to the next level. That's what we are saying. So it doesn't have to start at 54 countries. The guy is in 35. 2 years ago, he was in 28. So the thing is already increasing. Eventually, he will become like the same way we've made Dangote what he is today. And Dangote, even when he was launching, Akufo-Addo was there, Fonya Singbe was there. Everybody, because now so Dangote is us. So even though Dangote started as a Nigerian guy from Kano, the Nigerians have made him become a continental behemoth. So 5 presidents were sitting there, and they are also proud. Yes. What I'm saying.
So, you see, I think You are both right.
Okay.
Okay. It took a decision by Andrew Techiapia to relocate back to Ghana.
Yeah.
It wasn't a policy that brought him.
At all.
He had a mission that, let me go back to. Indeed, Andy was prepared to take off regardless of which country he found himself in. But he made a choice that, let me go to my home country and get it started. Years down the line, this is what we have. And I'll do a quick reference to Magdan. Magdan, our own Magdan. I listened to Magdan deliver a speech in Nairobi, Kenya, only last week.
Is it the after one?
The after business camp. Now, this is the idea that he put across to them. That I am starting a shipping line in Ghana. We will borrow the name Black Star Line, which is the
original one that is it Marcus Garvey.
Well, and what he said was, I will build it in such a way that after a while, all the 54 African countries will have a stake. So that we can cut down the cost of shipping on this continent.
You have to ship the thing to Paris before you come back to.
So this is one person's vision and mission, which will take policy.
The government has to support.
To, crafted policy to mold it into something that will solve our problems. Now, of all the things that we can talk about, I still go with the point that Sky Bernard you've been making about the creative arts and music in particular. It's the lowest hanging fruits. We have talents in Ghana. In fact, if you look at there's a music creativity index in Africa.
Music creativity index.
Yes.
Published by who?
I forget the website, but I'll get that.
Okay.
The topmost is Nigeria, and I'm talking about what they refer to as best music.
Okay.
Nigeria.
Number one.
Number two is South Africa.
Okay.
Guess who number three is? Ghana.
Hey. Charlie, we are not bad though.
So if you are third to Nigeria and South Africa, it means
music creativity index.
It comes with a certain potential. Now, why is Nigeria music where it is today? People say that because Nigeria has the population. Maybe not. Maybe not because
but DRC to us population.
After Nigeria comes Ethiopia in terms of so tell me whether Ethiopian music is in the top ranking. Not really.
It's in your area.
You understand? Let's not forget internet connectivity issues. It is one of the major things that have pushed Nigerian music, internet access. It is on record that Nigeria has about between 30 and 40% of their population that has access to the internet.
Oh, really? I didn't know this.
Now, if you have between 30 and 40% access to the internet, it may be more than that. You know what numbers that will be? This is about 80 to 90 million people have access.
Wow.
Now, the 80 to 90 million people that have access to the internet is about 2 countries put together.
Yeah.
No, Nigerian music and Ghana music, what's the difference?
It's not that different, actually.
But they have a deliberate policy.
There's actually confusion. There's actually confusion in the East Africa about which is which.
They should forget it. Nigeria is far gone.
No, what I'm saying is that they can't tell the difference.
We have almost 50 million African diasporas in the Western world in total.
50 million.
Almost 50 million.
Wow.
In the Western world. Out of that 50 million, you know how many of them are Nigerians?
Probably 40%.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the consumption power is huge.
Yeah.
And that's why the world music labels are rushing to Nigeria. Sony Music is in Nigeria. Warner Music is in Nigeria.
All the others.
They're all there because they have the numbers and they consume the music. Another thing is the power of language. Let me talk about that. Listen to the Nigerian music. Look for Kiss Daniel for me. Why is the Nigerian man sitting in Enugu somewhere and singing Odoyewu?
As a Nigerian guy?
Yes. Why? Because they know the power of language.
Serious?
I always say that when people come and sing these local song, and they make you are limiting yourself
because you can't.
The
It's
Nigerian
cross-border.
deliberately look. Listen to Naira Marley. This boy grew up in Peckham. Yes, he grew up in England. He sings and then he drops his refrain in English. Everything is Yoruba. Refrain in English, what we call the hook in music. The hook is in English, so that it will transcend borders.
So this is not an accident. It's deliberate.
It is not.
It's a deliberate.
Look, in Ghana, if you look at the music universe, the name that resonates with the universe, there are only two. Only two.
Let us guess first.
The only two, one is Sarkodie. Two is the one who came here the last one. Stonebwoy. Forget about the rest.
In terms of continent-wide.
Yes, not continent, global.
Globally.
You can add Manifest to an extent.
Well, Manifest has his space.
He has his space.
But he's talking about the size. So Sarkodie and Stonebwoy.
Yes.
Crossover.
Yeah. Because they know how to use
use the language to get.
So the Nigerian is using Yoruba, using Igbo.
And pidgin too.
Yeah, of course. The pidgin is part of their lingua. But you see, they use the language and they target Ghana as well. That's why he played Charlie DJ.
I didn't know the guy was not even.
All right, go.
To flex my love, I want to impress, and I want to carry my love away to a place she loves. I'm a man, I want to impress, and I want to carry my love away to a place she loves. Die who, or die who, yeah, or die who, die who, die who, or die who, yeah, or die who, die who, or die who, yeah.
So did he get a Ghanaian to say the Odoyewu for him?
No, he's not. He's saying it.
Can't we sue him? So what's your point? Let me just get your point.
My point is that we should look at the low-hanging fruits as a country. We have celebrated the old musicians because they have brought joy to us. They have brought entertainment to us. But just like football of the 70s and the 80s, they brought joy to us, entertainment, but they left them with poverty.
Yeah.
Today, go to Nigeria and see how these musicians command billions.
They are not poor
because they have created a space that helps them to monetize their talent. And I'm saying that we as a country, we should take this music and creative thing, tourism thing very seriously.
So just to bring the point home, what do we need to do so that our musicians can
creative artists?
Yeah, our creative artists can.
The policy people should take a second look at the space now. Do you know that we don't have a Ghana Music Festival?
As a country?
Yes.
Really?
But we have Ghana Music Awards.
So when you say films festival, what are you talking about? Like,
it is the platform.
The festivals that they do all over that.
Yes, Ghana Music Festival. Go to Nigeria.
In UK, almost every town has their festival.
Yes,
like
Glastonbury Festival.
You see,
festival.
Rocky Downey will be on like various. Yes,
but it's free, but it's a lot of money.
But it's promotional. Yeah,
and it creates tourism revenue for the country. We do not have a Ghana music.
And you know,
festival.
some of our big musicians like Rocky Downey, they are on festivals throughout. Their calendars are booked, Rihanna and things. So we don't have an equivalent here.
We don't have a Ghana music festival.
What about a policy for Ghana music? For like maybe playing on air or stuff?
I don't know. We tried doing some with the film people, but the music, I don't know.
So you're talking about festival and then policy around even media usage.
We haven't done this thing in a more deliberate way where we say, look, we used to have the Winneba School of Music. I think it's been added to the university. But how are we going to expand this facility so that we'll catch them young in the secondary schools? Because you see, where Charlie, you know, because see, if you watch Nigerian Idol or The Voice Nigeria and see the quality of production, compare that to what they do in the UK, you don't see any difference.
They've upped their game.
They
have. Because also the economy has.
We should. In fact, it's one of the reasons we have brought back Voice Factory on City.
Yeah, man.
It's one of our main motivations
to get.
And if you look, I was watching Nigerian Idol, and I was shocked at the quality, the type of companies that were sponsoring. And
it's high level.
Thinking they are not sponsoring because they want to see a naked woman or somebody with an exposed gyrating. No, because they know they are building an industry, they are creating jobs, they are keeping the youth off the streets.
It's a very serious angle. So the creative art is really like,
it's a game changer for us.
But it's actually a place we spend the least money.
Because we think it's a joke. We think that if you choose to do music, it means you don't know what you're about.
You know the trending picture of Ejako's house, and people are like, by Ejako cry, he's built the house because like musicians there, these comedians there, they are just joking. You know, so they don't see.
The man has built a house.
What the likes of Sabinos are doing on the internet.
How many comedians in our lifetime have built even a boys' quarters?
So let me just get you right. So the issue of having a policy that promotes the music, the film,
digital ecosystem,
is one. So the policy that, and then number two, the digital platform that can help you monetize it.
Yes.
All right. So it's not just producing the music. So it includes media policies around airplay and like movie showing.
Not to cut you.
Yeah.
Let's go to the digital ecosystem. Go to the top three. First is Spotify. Two is amazing music. And then there's
Apple Music.
Apple Music. Third.
Apple Music.
Then you have YouTube and Deezer.
YouTube is doing very well now. Yeah.
YouTube and Deezer. If you go to Spotify, Nigerian music is about 10% of the revenue sharing.
Serious?
Yes.
It's huge.
On Spotify.
On Spotify, Nigerian music. The last time I checked, between 7 and 10%. You can check. Amazing music is also coming up. Deezer is coming up. Quickly. Apple Music. It's Nigerian music because people can relate. And I talked about the population of Africans living in the diasporan community.
Yeah.
They hear the Nigerian music, they can relate because of language.
I wanted to come,
these
I wanted
guys
to
are
come to you on
selling out
something when you were
in terms
saying
of the concept.
When Yusun did the thing with Nene Sherry, 7 seconds away.
7 seconds.
Check that song. See how he started and see where he ended. He started with his native language, but the refrain and the hook, to the extent that British Telecom bought the thing and used it for the advert for almost 10 years.
That's serious.
So I'm saying that if we don't open our eyes to this music thing,
Charlie.
and you see musicians, people with talent, nobody is helping them, the policy doesn't favor them because it's not toton, as we say. It's not toton in English.
We even have ton which no work.
that platform still there.
You see, so I'm just saying we need to pay attention to this creative thing.
I wanted you to develop the point you were making, but I don't think I have enough time. You were talking about the reason why the Jumias of this world did not succeed and all of that.
But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, but I think that
we are doing Voice Factory.
Yes, and it started on we announced the top 10 yesterday actually, and they will be competing for the next 3 months
from Saturday.
Yes, so there's a lot that will be happening on that platform, but that's just one of the many things that we think should be done to promote the creative arts as one of the areas of investment. I still go back to food as well, because I'm always saying that for me, what people eat is so basic. The hierarchy of needs, food is number one. So there must be a whole effort around people eating what they grow, which is one of the reasons why we have to then reduce our dependency on the US dollar. spending your dollars buying meat from some other country or apple juice from some place. Charlie, you can't do that. Anyway, we don't have all the time in the world. Just to wrap it up, Sky.
Wrap it up and fortify Samen's point. There's a story I dug up, which is on businessday.org.
Nigeria.
Yeah, that's right.
No, Business Day.
Business Day,
Nigeria. Yes.
the Nigerian one.
Mhm.
The story basically says that Burna Boy, for instance, a Nigerian singer, songwriter, and a record producer, he's one of the people mentioned, with 3 billion streamed on Spotify, using $3,300 per 1 million streams, multiplied by $3,000 equals $9 million. Now, CK, 27-year-old Nigerian artist with 2 billion streams on Spotify, using $3,300 per 1 million streams, multiplied by $2,000 equals $6,600,000.
So who is our most?
CK had a particular song that.
Who is our most streamed artist, Ghana?
Most streamed.
Cumulatively, I think it's between Sarkodie
Sarkodie
and Stonebwoy. But in recent past is the young boy, the one whose song went over the roof.
Yeah, this guy.
The Konongo boy.
Black Sheriff.
Black Sheriff.
Black Sheriff, yeah.
Black Sheriff is also rising. Interesting. Yeah, we'll discuss the platform issues in other programs. We're going to turn attention to the digital issues of e-commerce. And my guest is Benedict Bento. We spoke about the e-commerce ecosystem and how to take advantage of it. The Citi Business Festival, it's funny, the Citi Business Festival is brought to you by Citi FM, Citi TV in partnership with APSA, and it's sponsored by MTN Business, MTN Momo, and as well as ZPay with support from Gersal. All right, so the question I ask you, the Ghanaian, who's the most streamed Ghanaian
guy?
Yeah,
it's the latest guy in town, which is
Sheriff.
Sheriff.
Black Sheriff.
Yeah, that's right. He followed, in fact, in 2002, there was a story done.
2022.
Yeah, 2022. There was a story done by the GNA, which put him second to Burna Boy on the global stage.
Wow.
It's okay.
When we come back, we're taking you to day 3 of our Citi Business Festival on a series. And my guest is the Senior Manager for Enterprise and Portfolio Management at MTN, Benedict Bento. Stay with us.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
The Voice Factory Season 5 is on. And this has been the journey so far. The excitement.
What shall I say now? I swear.
No, I'll give you a stand of it.
The disappointments.
Is that it?
I have another song.
Adriana?
No.
The soul-hugging voices and the ones not so amazing.
Broken down and tired of living life.
This your love is sweeter than honey. Anything you do it for me. Tell them that this human nature. Why?
Third man story. We are seeing my way. I no get nothing.
Now we have our top 10 finalists. Get ready for the live show. On the 10th of June 2023, the magic of The Voice Factory Season 5 begins only on Citi TV. The Voice Factory is sponsored by Eddie's Pizza, Nalo Solutions, and Ebony Condoms.
Hey, are you worried about your parties, weddings, hangouts, on what drink to enjoy for the celebration? Or you're worried about how to celebrate your friends and family during that special occasion? Bigo. Now that is Bigo! With Bigo, no wahala for the occasion. They made it for everyone to enjoy and have the ideal celebration. Bigo, the soft drinks that comes in 16 and 20 in a pack. Hey, Charlie, that is Bigo. A lot to go around in various packs. It's refreshing and good quality. Now that is Bigo. The taste is Bigo. Another quality product from Twillium Industries Limited. This advert is FDA approved. Bigo.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Welcome to day 3 of our honor series for the Citi Business Festival, which is brought to you by APSA, sponsored by MTN Business and MTN Momo, as well as ZPay with support from Gersel. Today I'm talking to the Senior Manager for Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management at MTN Business, Benedict Bentel, to really unravel the e-business or the e-commerce space. Many people believe that that is one of the main anchors of the digital economy that we've been talking about. And Benedict will talk about his insights into that sector and how we can leverage e-commerce to increase economic growth. Benedict, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bernard. Absolute pleasure to be here.
So you work with MTN Business.
Yes.
So we know MTN is a business, yet there's MTN Business. So
Yes.
which one is that?
Okay, so MTN Business is basically the arm of MTN that works on the solutions for businesses, from SMEs to large corporates to multinationals. Basically, we take these organizations or companies or entities on the journey of transforming their businesses, providing them with the tools that they need to succeed in the business world.
So as against individual customers?
Yes, but remember that there are individual entrepreneurs as well who are representatives of businesses or in themselves a business entity.
So these are solutions for businesses.
Exactly.
What type of solutions would those be?
There's a whole plethora of these solutions. It ranges from the basic connectivity solutions like internet, fixed internet, dedicated internet, mobile internet as well. Your normal mobile bundles. And then you go into the converged services where you have the unified communications, audio conferencing solutions, IVRs. You go into the cloud space as well, where you have softwares as a service, and then a few digital solutions as well, maybe ERPs, softwares that businesses use to manage their efficiency and all that.
So you do all that?
Yes.
We thought you would just sold chips and do voice and data. So
was,
you do ERPs?
Yes.
Enterprise resources, so like an accounting platforms and things?
Yes. So basic, anything that a business needs to succeed, we provide those solutions. So if you realize we're moving from a telco to a techco, so the days of just the SIM card connectivity are far behind us. We are moving into cloud applications, softwares, platforms, all the things that businesses need to succeed when it comes to technology.
Of course, the basis of all of that being the connectivity.
Exactly. Everything rides on the connectivity.
Yesterday we spoke about, of course, Monday we spoke about the layers of the digital economy, the skills, the connectivity, the storage, and then we talk about platforms, and then we talk about applications, databases. It would seem to me as if MTN Business doubles in almost all of these things.
Exactly. So the entire stack of that we've doubled from all the way down from connectivity to the applications as well. Storage, everything. We have data center, co-location. We have a lot of clients in there. So basically, every part of that ecosystem we play in.
Amazing. But what is your job? You are the Senior Manager for Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management. What on earth is that?
Okay, it's a mouthful, but my team basically has 4 functions. We are responsible for innovation within MTN Business. We bring out the new solutions for the market for SMEs and large corporates. We're also responsible for the brand, marketing the brand and managing how the brand looks to the general public. And then we're also responsible for enterprise customer experience. And then the new or the gold mine, that is the data and analytics, my team is also responsible for that.
So if somebody brings a problem to the MTN Business, you are the one who can determine if this can be solved and if there's actually a business in this problem.
Yes. Aside that, basically any problem that exists within the business community, if there are partners who have solutions that they feel can fit within this, we sometimes partner these organizations. We also actively look out for problems that our business customers are facing and then start the design thinking process to generate solutions for the business community.
I ask this because in talking about digital skills, I wonder what type of training or skill set a person must have to do what you do. Right? So are you a programmer? Are you an accountant? Are you an engineer? Are you a software developer?
Okay, so in the technology space, usually it's good to have a little knowledge about everything and then specialize in one area. But generally, you would require some project management skills, some design thinking skills as well. You would also require some innovation skills, how to design go-to-markets for the public or for the business community. You would also need some advertising and marketing as well. But it all comes back to customer experience and data and analytics, so you need some skills there as well.
Amazing. We are talking today about the e-business ecosystem or e-commerce. Is it the same thing? People talk about e-commerce, e-business. Is it the same thing?
There are overlaps, but basically e-business, all the transactions or commercial transactions that involve some sort of internet connectivity or technology riding on that. So that is e-business. But the e-commerce ecosystem covers everything from the fintech players to the platforms to the individuals who are actually generating those transactions. So the e-commerce is actually the full ecosystem.
I see. And how big is that ecosystem in the country?
Well, it's actually very big and growing. It's shot up probably due to COVID as well. Some of the innovation is driven by necessity, so it has rapidly expanded over the past few years. But I think relatively compared to most of our West African colleagues, Ghana is far ahead when it comes to the e-business or e-commerce ecosystem.
I see. And within the e-business ecosystem, to my mind, obviously there will be mobile money service providers, there will be payment companies, but there will also be fintechs. What is a fintech?
Okay, so a fintech is basically if you split the word, it's a financial technology institution or organization. And MTN's Mobile Money is Mobile Money Limited is a very, very good example of that. Basically, the technology side, which is the MTN network, riding on the financial side as well. You combine that, you get what you call the fintech, and right now it's regulated by the Bank of Ghana because it's a financial institution. So that is one of the major players in the space when it comes to e-business and e-commerce in Ghana.
So so MTN Mobile Money is possibly the largest fintech in the country.
It is actually
the largest fintech
in the country.
And you're saying a fintech is a financial service provider that is driven by technology.
Yes, essentially, that's the simplest definition of it.
And in this case, the technology will be the network and the connectivity.
Yes, the technology, it serves as an enabler. So you need platforms, you need connectivity, you need technology, and then the financial transactions ride on these, and then you have that fintech ecosystem.
I see. How quickly is it growing in Ghana, based on your observation and your work?
Well, from our space, it's growing, but there's a lot more to do. I think mobile money in Ghana has shot up very fast. It has reached levels where I think were unprecedented. I think I was in a competitor telco at the time when MTN launched mobile money, and I think nobody expected the kind of growth that we have seen. There's still much more to do. We still have people who are unbanked and are not on mobile money either, and the goal is to basically capture everybody in that digital ecosystem so that nobody is left out.
Interesting. We're talking to Benedict Bentil, who's a senior manager for enterprise marketing and portfolio management at MTN Business, and this is day 3 of our on-air series. We're trying to understand and to take advantage of the e-business ecosystem. E-business, he's talking about fintechs, of which MTN Momo is the largest. Then there are various other businesses within that. There are the payment guys as well. He's also defined what a fintech is, a company that provides financial services driven by technology. Very interesting indeed. I don't know if you've worked in Kenya or Nigeria, because they present like two contrasts. The sense I get from Nigeria is the banks are still very much in charge of the process. So it's a very heavy banking society. But if you go to Kenya, it seems as if there's more telco-led innovation. So what Safaricom started, which others are doing, you see. And again, when you can you comment on that first before I even get inside? The fact that in every country, different things may be happening, develop depending on the evolution of the sectors there.
Yeah, essentially you're right. Nigeria and Kenya are quite the contrast when it comes to the technology adoption and the growth. To an extent, the country itself or the government also speaks to what direction these kind of growths will take. And if the country or the government has decided we're going on that digital agenda, and I think you find that in Kenya and Rwanda, then all the players in the ecosystem start to drive towards that ambition. If it's not a priority, it's kind of a slower growth, slower adoption. But in the end, I think generally across the world, we agree that this is the direction, this is the new industrial revolution, and nobody wants to be left behind. So Ghana is obviously trying to catch up with Rwanda and Kenya, and we are very close to that. Hopefully, we catch up to them and overtake them, but we do not want to be left behind in that digital transformation.
In that area, one of the challenges Ghana seems to have is the point of cashing out and doing more cash-based transactions. So even though almost everybody has a Momo account, most people still prefer to go and buy physically.
Yes.
So I don't know whether it's a question of habits or lack of opportunities, but most people will go to a Momo vendor and go and collect money from their Momo account to go and buy bread.
Yeah. So,
in certain countries, that's not what happens.
Yes, and I think that stems from the problem where when we define these e-commerce ecosystems, people leave out the people part of it. And the people part of it is very important because that adoption has to be driven by the people. If there are vendors who are still stuck taking cash, it forces the buyer then to withdraw cash and then to purchase. But if we educate the public, if we educate the vendors on the benefits of the digital stream rather than taking cash, then they start to accept the digital payments as their preferred method. And then it doesn't force, buyers to also then do a cash out to take cash and go and pay. And there's also some level of digital literacy that needs to be pushed from the youngest person to the oldest person so that people are not stuck in the old ways of doing, physical cash transactions. There's a whole range of benefits that can be shared with the users, from safety to speed to even discounts in some cases that can be used to help drive the conversation and get people to move away from cash.
So education is critical. The willingness of people who sell to also accept digital payments.
Yes.
As in to do away with physical currency.
Exactly.
Is critical. So that also means there's some policy issues there, aren't there? Because
yes.
It's not just a question, because most people would want to do what they are used to.
Exactly. And like I said, sometimes innovation is driven by necessity, but we can't avoid the fact that sometimes it's also driven by policy. And policy is one of the big hammers that a government or a country can use to drive that transformation. If there is the general directive that, for example, the dollar situation where nobody is supposed to price in dollars anymore, that has generally killed that discussion. And if we take that general decision as a country to maybe get to 80% of our transactions being digital and then move away from cash, it starts to then, literally trickle down to the very least in the ecosystem. The other thing is the ecosystem has to be ready to take this. The platforms, the applications, all the players in the system have to be ready to adopt. And I think for Ghana at least, I think the readiness is there to move on from cash to a strictly digital payment system.
We'll take a short break and come back and talk more about the e-commerce ecosystem in Ghana. We're talking to Benedict Bentil of MTN, who shared his views. And he is also a solutions architect. If you look at the kinds of things he does, when he explains the work he does, they are at MTN Business innovating within the business, branding, managing customer experience, doing data analytics. I'm sure very soon AI will be part of some of their offerings as well. We'll talk about all that when we come back. Stay with us.
The biggest business festival in Ghana is on. Mark your calendars this June as we bring you the Citi Business Festival 2023. The running theme for this year's festival is Make It Ghana. It's going to be a month-long conversation on how to grow, improve, and expand your business with seasoned industry experts. Join the weekly business forum every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. live on Citi TV for discussions on various thematic areas each week, beginning with Week 1, Reimagining the Digital Economy. Week 2, Building Resilient SME Brands. Week 3, the changing phase of the Ghanaian retail market. And Week 4, Understanding and Leveraging Agribusiness Value Chains. Also, tune in every weekday at 9:05 a.m. for the Citi Business Festival on-air series on the Citi Breakfast Show on 97.3 Citi FM to acquire the information you need to kickstart and strengthen your business. There will be a lesson for every business on the Citi Business Festival 2023 this June, only on Citi TV, 97.3 Citi FM, citibusinessnews.com, and on CNR Digital. The Citi Business Festival 2023 is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by MTN.
Hello.
This is the on-air series for the Citi Business Festival 2023. Day 3, we're talking about e-business, e-commerce. My guest is Benedict Bentel, MTN, main guy or senior manager in the enterprise business. So, are you able to, if I mention a company's name, are you able to tell if they are in the e-business ecosystem at all? Because yes, we know that MTN Momo is there.
Yes.
But there's companies like, for example, ZPay.
Yes.
Will ZPay be considered to be part of this ecosystem?
Of course. ZPay is one of the larger players in the space. I still remember about 12 years ago when I met Andrew, about to start this company. He had this equipment in his booth. And from where they started to where they are now, and the global presence that they are trying to build, ZPay is definitely one of the top players in the space.
But what they do, what I'm trying to drive at is, it seems as if there are different companies doing different parts of the thing.
Yes. So you'll find there are other organizations that mainly would do development and then also have the license to be able to operate financial transactions. You can mention people like Haptel and probably IT Consortium. These are all our partners, so we have no problem mentioning them. And in the end, some may develop solutions that make it easier to do financial transactions, have an app or something, and then their transactions then go through the network, which is MTN Mobile Money. But these are all players in the space. Each one has a niche, but there are some who are multifaceted and may do both the financial transactions, development of software and applications, and integrations as well. There are other organizations who would probably also provide maybe notification services for those players in the space. And essentially, probably you find a whole ecosystem of players all working together to drive that same.
So if, for example, somebody needs to pay his university fees and doesn't want to go to a bank, if a company creates a platform where they can go online and make that payment, that company is a fintech.
No.
They are not.
No.
They are developer.
Yes, the fintech should have that ability to be licensed to do those financial transactions.
So this company that does what I just said, so that like ITC.
Yes.
So they will build a platform where if I have to pay for tech fees, I don't need to go to a bank.
Exactly.
So I'll go online and make the payment and to reflect. I want to pay ECG or DSTV.
Yes. So these will be developers in the fintech space.
So they emphasize the development part. So their solution is the development part.
Exactly.
So that would be IT Consortium as an example.
Yes, I stand to be corrected, but I feel people like ITC, Apps and Mobile, these are more of developers who, create the solutions that would then enable the financial transactions.
And how do they work with you guys?
Okay, so usually the financial transactions would ride on a mobile money platform or a bank, And where it's mobile money, of course, MTN mobile money being the biggest player, usually we have integrations with all these players, Haptel, Apps and Mobile, IT Consult. We have partnerships with them where the transaction starts from the customers and even through their app. There is a level where it then enters maybe the person's wallet or something like that. And we have that partnership with these. It's a seamless transaction.
Haptel used to be called SMSGH.
Yes.
And the name changed, and I now see them dabbling in. They are even talking about buying food online and things. Yes. Is the name change also part of the way the whole ecosystem has changed? Because look at the time it was SMS text messages we're doing.
Exactly. So it's similar to the MTN story where we are moving from telco to a techco. And Haptel used to be SMSGH, and I think the kind of services that Haptel provides now cannot be limited to a name like SMSGH. It's an entire behemoth of an organization now providing payments and apps and all kinds of things, integrations, notifications. So it's no longer limited to just the SMS notifications. And Haptel is an example of a good organization that has transitioned into that full technology kind of organization.
Interesting. And then, of course, there's the people who are into hardcore payments like Express Pay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so usually when you want to do like a payment of a bill or something,
yes.
What's the key to success in these kinds of companies? What must these companies do to be relevant?
Okay, so Bernard, essentially it's just about constantly innovating. Mm-hmm. The market is shifting at any point in time. So MTN Business, for example, we've moved from just connectivity. It used to be our entire hallmark, and now we've moved into converged services, data, cloud, all sorts of software as a service sitting on the connectivity. And if you do not adapt to the changes in the market and the changes in the environment, you tend to be left behind. So I think all these organizations, including MTN, we are driven by that. We are constantly looking in the market with a design thinking approach. What do our customers want? What are they doing? What do they need in the future? And probably in the next 5 to 10 years, what will they need? And then you start getting the solutions in place for that.
You mentioned about ZPay that you know Andrew very well. It seems to me as if they sort of became the first in remittance to wallet, where people who were sending money from abroad were just basically sending it and receiving cash. And they were saying, look, we can help you with a wallet to manage the money. Has that been the secret to their group? Because I interviewed Andrew yesterday, and he's in 35 African countries.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes, Andrew is relentless. So what happens is, I think those times, you remember we used to go to Western Union.
And collect the money with a card. You fill a form and collect physical cash.
And then you fear for your life from the drive.
Because you don't know where somebody's chasing
exactly.
you.
Exactly. And now I think that seamless operation where the person sends the money and you get it straight on your phone, and I mean that whole process makes life easier for everybody. And I think that you see is what is driving all the change that's happening in the ecosystem. Same with mobile money as well. Just changing that experience from a very uncomfortable, maybe 10-step process to a 2-step process where you don't have to move from your couch to get your money.
From outside, it seems to me as if we are very good with the technology companies. ZPay, ITC, Haptel, Express Pay, Apps and Mobile, even Insano, right? We have all these guys. What seems to be missing for me is the big shops. So, look, I have friends who go online and buy things from China on some platform. But our big shops, Melcom, China Mall, Palace, I'm not sure if they see the e-commerce thing. Do you get me? It's like people still go to China Mall to line up. People still go to Melcom. It's almost like the payment guys are ready. Yeah. The developers are ready. But the guys who sell the hard products, they are like, you know what? Come to my shop. Is that not a problem?
So there are two things there. The first thing is, remember I kept mentioning we need to go back to the people. If the people's mindsets are not changed to start, using digital solutions, then you have a problem. There's also the trust ecosystem where somebody wants to actually physically inspect something before they pick it up. Whereas in probably the more developed, systems, there's an escrow, and then when you pay the money, until you are satisfied or you signed off on the quality, the payment doesn't get to the vendor. So these are some of the things that will shape the conversation when it comes to these big shops. most of them do not have that full-fledged online portal where you can click, buy, and get it delivered. Some do, but even that, it's not on a top notch. But when they do get that, there needs to be that trust ecosystem where the person knows they are getting the quality of what they have paid for, and therefore they don't need to go and line up and pay cash. They are comfortable sitting at home and ordering it. I think we have that particular system in place now with our Momo marketplace.
Okay.
And anything that you purchase there, at least there's a certain level of trust when it comes to the vendors that are displayed there. And you know that has been driven from Jumia to now. I think a lot of platforms trying to create that. In our Momo marketplace, there'll be those trusted vendors. You purchase the item, same as you would have walked to a China mall or whatever, and you get it delivered. But once that trust ecosystem is established, it's easier, people are more comfortable. And then we still need to drive that education. There are still people sending their children to go and do Momo transactions for them when probably they could have done it themselves. Drive the education when it comes to the data, the smartphones.
Tell me about MTN Marketplace that you speak about, because you mentioned about trust, but there's also things like inventory management.
Yes.
And then deliveries.
Yes.
The logistics around that. So is it that you guys have bought a lot of products and put them in some warehouse, and then when I want to buy, you bring it, or you've connected different small sellers who manage their own delivery?
Yeah, so essentially it's the latter, like you mentioned, getting that ecosystem of vendors who would set up storefronts in the Momo marketplace, and then it wouldn't be efficient for us to stock all these things. So basically the vendors or the SMEs on board there, and they're able to sell their wares from wherever they are. It's a whole network of logistics, payment, and then the customer and then the provider, and that forms that circle of trust where you know what you're paying, you get the value that you want for it.
So what kind of people usually will patronize? It seems to me as if maybe students, younger people are more ready to experiment, or how is your customer base a reflection of the Ghanaian mindset about e-commerce?
You are right, but let's not rule out the fact that there are still some people who still purchase online, sometimes just out of comfort. But you're right in terms of the demographic. Largely, the younger people are more embracing towards online transactions. I think I know someone who purchased a sofa and it came and it was the size of the phone. Apparently, the person didn't read the dimensions.
Oh, Lord.
So I think the younger people are more particular about the specs of what they are getting. So it's easier for them to do these online transactions. But if the safeguards are in place, I think everybody is standing to take an advantage of this.
So what are people typically selling in these e-commerce platforms? And what else do we need to put on these platforms for it to really explode?
Okay, so initially it was just things like clothes, shoes, phones,
mobile phones.
Yes, stuff like that. I think you remember those times, Tonaton and Co.
Yeah.
But then it transitioned into a lot of food as well when we went into lockdown. And a lot of food deliveries were happening, a lot of services as well. So you can order plumbing services and etc. all through this marketplace. And then after services, I think the gap that we have now is probably things like courses and stuff like that. Maybe even getting government to start putting some of their services there, like getting your passport and everything. It doesn't need to sit in there, but it can take you on a link to a secure government site where you can do all that. So public services need to be there. I think we need to put some education courses there as well, try to empower people through these platforms. And then basically, then you have covered the entire ecosystem. But right now, I think everything from cars to phones to clothes is being sold
Maybe
online.
it's left with building materials that people will put on there.
Yeah.
But clearly, there needs to be education from the supplier side.
Yes.
For them to know, because again, I do read announcements on air where a company will say, we don't sell online because they are fraudsters. How serious is the issue of cybersecurity and fraud as a disincentive to the growth of this place? Because some of the companies that come on my show say, please announce that we don't sell online because there are people who are trying to dupe people on social media.
Yeah.
So how much of a disincentive is cybersecurity and the lack of it in terms of how this will grow?
Okay, it's a big factor. I think a lot of people, I keep mentioning the trust ecosystem because it's a big problem in Ghana. I think it's just the past few years that we've been able to actually establish addresses, and now we are registering our phone numbers as well. So now I think it's slightly safer than before, where now if you are dealing with this individual, there is a record of the person's location and details. Now, when it comes to a company like MTN, we are moving away from, we're actually moving towards the online. If there's anybody who is not selling online, we are moving all our services online. The business community will be able to get all their services from the business hub. Apart from that, the general public can also purchase goods and services from the mobile money marketplace as well. And for these two, at least we can confirm that we've gone through the credentials, the security, every failover that is possible for us to identify, and then put in what actions will be taken if somebody is duped or something like that. I think if we are able to clearly show these kind of customer journeys that are fail-safe, I think customers will start to trust the online more and start investing their money in online transactions.
We've been talking to the Senior Manager for Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management, MTN, Benedict Bentel. Really interesting insights into the potential for e-commerce and the fact that there's a lot of space for many companies, and particularly the big vendors, to come to the party, because it looks like on the infrastructure side, on the technology side, on the money side, all things are ready. We just need more vendors to come on board and say, look, here's my dispatch team, here's my logistics management, my inventory guys. And of course, the trust is almost like the missing link, because in Ghana, they say goods sold are not returnable. And I think once the trust issue is dealt with, because there are also issues of quality, right? Yeah. I have friends who go online to buy shoes from China. Yeah. I don't want to mention the name of the platform. They don't see the man, but they buy the shoe. Yeah. And they're happy with the shoe.
We all know the platform.
Yes. So if that can work in Ghana, why shouldn't our big vendors and people who even do like locally made goods, all right, shito, milk powder, all those things. Yeah. So there's a lot of potential there. Thank you, Benedict, for your insights. I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. He's been speaking to us on the taking advantage of the e-business or the e-commerce ecosystem. We hope you've learned something new. We'll be with you next time on the On Air series. Thank you for listening.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Hey, close up. Ever fresh air, ever fresh air. Ever fresh air, ever close up.
All new Close Up Everfresh. Wait, Charlie, what's new?
It now has a triple fresh formula that cleans, protects, and cools. Thanks to a powerful combination of 1, a purifying gel, 2, an antibacterial mouthwash formula, 3, ice cool crystals. That cleans, fights up to 99% bacteria, and intensely cools. Fresh breath. Keeps you protected and fresh long after brushing. Close Up Triple Fresh formula. Cleans, protect, and cools. Close Up Everfresh. Grab yours now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Business today can be overwhelming. That's why you should partner with Carl Bank Business Banking to get the support you need.
Carl Bank Business Banking offers small and medium enterprises a wide range of strategic solutions to support your business efforts. Get financing to improve cash flow, funding for import and clearing of goods, invoice discounting, and funds for local purchase orders to keep your business going and growing. You also get to enjoy the benefits of CalPay, giving thousands of Carl Bank customers access to your products and services right from their mobile devices. There's a solution for every business with Carl Bank Business Banking. Call Carl Bank and get support today.
Carl Bank, forward together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Down. GH.com.
This is still the Citi Breakfast Show. We'll get into a very interesting conversation about an upcoming event in a second. But are you ready to take your education to the next level? Then mark your calendars for the Study Abroad exhibition organized by Intake Education with over 20 UK universities, 20 top UK universities. This is your chance to study in a new country, immerse yourself in a new culture, learn about different academic programs, and meet with an experienced study abroad rep from the UK. It's happening on the 14th of June 2023 between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. It's happening at the Mervyn Peck Ambassador Hotel in Accra. See you at the Study Abroad exhibition. Now, Old Mutual is 10 years. Join them as they celebrate a decade of greatness. Now, did you know that Old Mutual was a leading financial service provider that offered innovative customer solutions across Ghana? They have about 500 employees, and all of these people play crucial roles in championing customer ops. Call Old Mutual today on 0501 579 204. Visit oldmutual.com.gh for more info. Old Mutual do great things every day. The Ghana Revenue Authority is telling everybody, particularly importers, that with the passage of the VAT Amendment Act 2022, Act 1082, all importers who qualify to register for VAT and have failed to do so will, from June 6th, which was yesterday, be charged an additional 12.5% on the customs value of taxable goods, including vehicles they import. Now, it's not a new tax, but it's a compliance tool. Get in touch with the GRA on 0800 900 110 or send them a WhatsApp message on 055 299 0000 on 0200631664. Send an email info@gra.gov.gh for more details. All right, let's talk about the 2023 Gender Summit Africa. And I have two wonderful people in the studio. I have Dr. Elizabeth Politzer, who's founder, director, Portia Gender in Science, and founder of the Gender Summit. And I also have Adelaide Asante, who's COO at AIMS Ghana. Good morning, ladies. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show.
Morning.
How are you doing?
Doing absolutely great.
Wonderful. Let's start from the top. Let's talk about the central focus and purpose of the Gender Summit Africa 2023 edition.
Okay, so the focus is on energy transition pathways in Africa and the vision of the Green Deal. There's a big issues around the globe and very special in Africa.
I see. Now, when did the Gender Summit series start, and how has it evolved over the years?
Oh, it started in 2011. We had a
2011.
Okay. So 10 years more, 12 years. But we had a panel of science leaders from across Europe looking at research evidence, and they concluded that science had more evidence for men than for women and males than for females, because traditionally studies were done using male animals or young men, young white men.
I see.
Okay, so they felt that there should be correction, and they recommended that the experience they went through should be made available. So we created the Gender Summit.
I see. You've been doing this since 2011. That's a long time. Now, what are some of the biggest things you've done, and what notable impact has it had in advancing gender, equality and inclusion?
Well, gladly I can say that we have actually had an impact because, especially in Europe, with the programs that European Commission has, Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe, now require that everybody has to have a gender equality plan, and also that have to have a gender dimension in their research. And we have established Gender Summit as a platform for dialogue. Started in Europe, but it also now is in Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and so there has been impact around the globe. So basically, the Gender Summit is not a conference, okay? It has got a mission to transform the quality of research for everybody.
I see.
So now it is, so it brings scientists, gender scholars, policymakers, industry, education to basically create science that benefits everybody.
I see. You're holding it in Ghana. Why Ghana, and what are some of the considerations you put together to choose Ghana as?
Okay, so this is the 23rd Gender Summit, but 4th in Africa. And for the last 3 ones, we've been working with African Institute of Mathematical Sciences. So it was quite natural that we should move. We've been in Rwanda, we've been in Kenya, so now it seemed sensible to come to a country where African Institute of Mathematical Sciences is present.
I see. Adil Asante, Adil, you've been quiet, you've been listening. Do you want to also give us a few reasons why Ghana was roped in?
Of course, as Elizabeth said, the summit in Africa, Portia partners with AIMS, and AIMS is based in 5 African countries: South Africa, Rwanda, Cameroon, Ghana, and Senegal. And so with this 23rd and 4th Gender Summit in Africa, the 23rd globally and 4th in Africa, the choice of having Ghana was unique because, of course, Ghana is making a lot of progress when it comes to green transition or sustainable energy transition. And this was the theme for this Gender Summit. It was focusing around the green deals. That is, globally, we are looking at energy transition in a just way. And Ghana is, the government of Ghana, or Ghana as a whole, there's a lot of efforts going on. So the choice of Ghana for us, whether AIMS or in partnership with Portia, was because of what is going on in the country.
I see. Wonderful. So apart from energy, of course, which is the main thing, what other critical areas of the SDGs will the summit address?
Okay, so with this summit, energy is related, of course, to climate change and climate action. 8 out of the 17 SDG goals have no gender indicators or gender targets, including energy, SDG 7, including SDG 13, which is climate change, including SDG 14, which is life underwater, including SDG 15, which is life on earth and on land. Everywhere where women apart or that the species, we have a male and female species. If we don't really look at that, what is happening, we're going to end up with an environment that is going to be destroyed in a way that will affect human well-being. So it is very important to right now to focus on all the SDGs, and especially the ones that seem to be blind to gender equality issues.
Great. In Ghana's context, I mean, let's focus on that. How does the transition to cleaner energy positively affect our country, and what steps can be taken to, get more progress in that direction?
Yeah. So in terms of Ghana, there's a national energy transition framework that the Ministry of Energy is doing. It outlines a number of positive impacts. Yes, as we look into growing into economic transformation, which is getting normally in Africa, in Ghana, our natural resources, right? Yeah. But then you look at the green resources. We've just discovered lithium and graphite, which is a chemical compound that is more greener than the coals that we know. Yeah. So how do we innovatively and technologically exploit that and not pollute the environment? With the goal is decarbonizing. So for Ghana, a just energy transition or energy transition is important. It has a good impact on us. Of course, globally, we are contributing to the global agenda, but as well as in terms of our country and development, we are also progressing.
Doc.
Yes, I would like to add to this, because Ghana is making such a good progress on this front, especially technological and resources. I really would like to challenge Ghana to take a lead also on showing that gender equality can be achieved through SDG 7.
I see.
Because there are no gender indicators and there are no gender targets. And I think Ghana can do that. And I, as African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, can lead them to the expertise in how to do it. We've been working with UN Women on this and together with AIMS. So there is expertise to help Ghana to show that SDG 7 can deliver gender equality.
I see. Let's talk about when the summit is happening, where it's happening, how can people take part, all of that.
Yeah, it's happening starting tomorrow.
Okay.
The 8th, and then it ends on Friday the 9th. It's
Okay.
a 2-day summit.
Okay.
We have participants from all over the world. As Elizabeth said, the practitioners, energy practitioners, policy makers, academia, researchers, and others. And it's happening at Labadi Beach Hotel. We are encouraging people to register to attend. You can go to the website of AIMS Ghana or the Gender Summit website. Once you Google Gender Summit, you would have access to the website to register. Or you can also contact us directly at AIMS.
Okay, Doc.
Also, I want to say that because it's energies, we were also trying to be sustainable and inclusive.
Yeah.
So last week we had a 2-day program online. Yes. 600 people have registered for that globally.
I see.
And 95% of speakers were from Africa, working for Africa, representing research from covering maybe half of the countries in Africa. So basically we're talking here about 4-day event altogether. That is official host is Ghana. And also in Cameroon they organized University of Yaoundé organized a hub with 50 people to also to try to be inclusive and sustainable, so people don't have to travel. People can't travel, don't have money for travel. So we try to be accommodating in that way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was fun talking to. Yes. Please do.
So as I was saying, you can call 026-535-1393 to guide you in registering.
Okay. Can you give us the number again?
026-535-1393.
Okay, so that's the number people can call.
Call, yes. We have about 10 slots that
spots are almost taken.
Yes, but and it's a gender summit doesn't mean it's only females.
Yeah. so males are allowed. So you have about 10 spots. So people can call this number 026-565-1393 to book their spot. And what time does it start?
It starts at 8.
8 a.m. So on the 2 days, June 8th and 9th, 8 a.m.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming through. We had Dr. Elizabeth Politzer, who's founder, director, Portia Gender and Science, and founder, the Gender Summit, and also had Adelaide Asante, CEO of AIMS Ghana, and they've been talking about the Gender Summit Africa 2023. It's happening tomorrow and Friday, June 8th and 9th, starts at 8 a.m. at the Labadi Beach. So you can call 026-565-1393 to book your spot and go and take part in some very insightful and very necessary conversations around Africa's energy transition. Thank you so much, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Into the future with you, I'm not gonna leave you at the end of the road. Give me your love and you know it's safe. Baby, never listen to what them say. Into the future with you, I'm not gonna leave you at the end of the road. Give me your love and you know it's safe. Baby, never listen to what them say. Me give her something with the sweet and ginger. She never get it mad and see. Cause she come here every morning say she tired of the mac and cheese. One thing more of the geezer. But I want time touch and she already fainting. All them time we be participating. She never know what I'm anticipating. The mission is hard for the taking. Me
9:58. We're about wrapping it up here on the Citi Breakfast Show. Music coming in from Stonebwoy. Of course, this one, Into the Future, is a fan favorite, I'm telling you out there. People love this jam. Stonebwoy himself, he loves the jam. Before we go, a quick check on some of these announcements. Standard Water has been giving us water for over 25 years. Quality water, refreshing water, just put together to quench your thirst. They've got sachet water, bottled water, dispenser mounted jar water,